Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? It's episode number 35 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great, and we have another long podcast for you guys this week. We did drop a podcast Saturday for some Euro interviews, so if you can check that out, go check it out. Episode 34 was an impromptu podcast that I put together really quick. Thanks to Joseph for doing some interviews with the 13 finalists. Check it out. It's pretty interesting. You can hear the rain and everything that's going on. We hope to do more stuff like this if we get to bigger races in the future. So good stuff. And thank you for all the support so far. This week we talked to Spencer Rivkin. Well, I actually recorded with Spencer the week before the INS race, which he just recently won. So he was doing some prep for his car. So it was a quick thing. I was like, hey man, I'd like to talk to you for the podcast. We've been trying to get him on for a long time. I talked to him at Fall Brawl last year, and I've talked to him at different races. But he's a busy young man and I'm busy, and we just never really got together. But we finally did. I was like, hey man, can we talk to you? And he's like, yeah, we can do it today. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So we did it one Sunday. And it's a short talk, but I like what Spencer's doing. He's really active on social media. He was there this week with Jackson Brunson and Alex Kachuziek. And he's at the ENATS right now. So this interview is with the main interview is with Spencer Rivkin. Also, Joseph and I talk about the Euros. The Assault RC Invisible Speed segment is all about pistol grip versus stick radio. The rant is about real off-road with Jeff. And the Tekno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight is with Colby Johnson, who works for RaceTime Entertainment. Great guy, met him, good dude. So, before I go on any further, I'd like to say thank you to all of our supporters, all of the listeners, all of the NNRC squad from around the world, all the people that support us on Patreon. Joseph did get us some swag. Some autographed swag from the Euros. I will be posting pictures as soon as I get better pictures of them. But, anything involving Joseph usually takes multiple days and until I actually tell him off, call him up, and curse him out, he gets things done. So, thank you for your support. As you guys see, we have some new sponsors. Actually, they're title sponsors. These are our main sponsors for the podcast. You have RCMX Online, which is it's been around for about a year, but it's a news media website for RC. They're pretty active. They have lots of different blogs. Joseph writes for them. A couple other blogs in there. Obviously, we've been affiliated with them with the podcast for some time. They post all of our podcasts up there. So I'm officially announcing that they are one of our sponsors now. I'm super happy to be working along with RCMX. Go check them out, RCMX Online, and show them some love, because they're showing us love, and they're trying to, bring everybody the latest, greatest in RC media when it comes to 8-scale racing, 10-scale racing, and whatnot. So check them out. Another one of our title sponsors is Euro RC, the European-based hobby shop. They do a lot of online sales all around Europe. Actually, they say they ship around the world. So they've come on as a sponsor, and we thank them. Euro RC, they've come on and become our title sponsor, and it's really appreciative. And this is what they had to say. They have ridiculously good customer service, fast shipping all over the globe, and a huge range of products in stock all of the time. So go to eurorc.com, www.eurorc.com. Use promo code NNRC in all caps, and you will get a discount off your order. So thank you to our new title sponsors. The whole podcast is pretty much bought by them. Mostly the main interview, but, It's the RCMX, the No Name RC podcast, presented to you by RCMX and Euro RC. So hey, if you ain't grinding and sliding, we're trying to bring you content, so we gotta keep the bills paid around here. Thank you to our other sponsors. Assault RC, who sponsors the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Remember, go to assaultrc.com, type in Lefty19 and get 10% off your order. Tekno RC brings you the Grassroots Racer Spotlight. Thank you to Tekno RC for coming on board. BK Servos. Go check out BK Servos. I need to see if they actually got the 8-scale servos in stock. And you know what? I can't remember our promo code for that. So I'm sorry. It'll be in the description though. Everything is in the written descriptions for this podcast below. So if I don't remember and you don't remember, you can always go check out the written descriptions for the podcast. Thank you to Bipolar Design, Jason Darling down there in El Paso, doing some awesome decal work. He sent me some pictures I posted the other day. He did for a guy. Man, he's doing some good work. We got to get him to do some No Name RC podcast decals or something. You'll see what happens. And I've had a few people asking for them. I've had a few people asking for shirts too. Trying to work on that. It's not easy. Especially when you work on a unicorn budget. But we will get shirts. Don't worry. And one of our newest sponsors is 454 RC Works, doing all your 3D printing, carbon bits, and soon engraving as well. He's the guy, Clint Treadway, who's made the awesome skateboard deck, which nobody won again. Sorry, guys, but we're going to have to do this for RCGP. I have to do a giveaway this week. Maybe I'll do it next week for the people that did enter, because I like to give people something. So thank you to Clint Treadway and our 454 RC Works for coming on. And remember, guys, all of our links to our sponsors are in our description with the promo codes attached. Please go show our sponsors some love. Showing them love shows the No Name RC podcast love. And we appreciate everything that you do for us, because without the listeners, we are nothing. This podcast is for the people. So, I know that was loud in it. Sorry, didn't mean to scream in your ear. This week, Spencer Rivkin and Euro's podcast. I think if you guys heard episode 34, I was super pumped over the Euros. I'm not going to go into too much detail. It was probably 45 minutes of the best nitro racing I've ever seen. Go check it out. That's all I have to say. Check it out. RC Racing TV did a great job covering it, and it was exciting. We have the E-Nets this week at Adrenaline Raceway in Virginia. Kind of a small track for E-Nets, but looks like Lutz is there, Cavallari, Mayfield's going, Rivkin, Cole Ogden, Tebow, Bornhorst. So it's still got high caliber racing going there, but I'm not too sure on the entry count. We always know that the E-Nets doesn't get as much entries, and I thought I'd get more there on the East Coast. But that's going on this weekend. You have the 10 scale Euros going on in Italy this weekend as well. So stay tuned for that. And you have the 10 scale Nationals coming up as well. And don't forget, in the first weekend of August, you have RCGP from Asti, Italy. Man, I got some pictures of the track. Diego is doing a great job of rebuilding the track, and I think it's going to be a great race. And we have to see which racers are going to be joining this time. So, yes, tune into that. And good stuff. Not too much to talk about this weekend. We do remember, guys, we have the benefit race for Matthew Norrod, who passed away last week. My buddy Rob Birchall's having a race at Chuckles RC in Tennessee. I got it confused with Kentucky last week. So if you're in the area, please go by. It's $25. All proceeds go to Matthew's family, and it's for a good cause, and it helps support one of our own. Cancer's a bad bastard, and it takes us, and we need to support all those who suffer from that. So good stuff, Rob. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope you guys all remember Matthew in a positive way, and that race is for him. Yeah, nothing much. Like I said, just the Euros was really good. Nothing. I want to send some props out, because I posted this on my Instagram. I actually got it from my buddy Quaze from Bermuda. He went up to the Big Apple Hot Race Challenge this weekend, where Cole Ogden took the win. And it was an awesome race between Quasi and Anthony Mazzaro. I'm probably saying his name wrong. He's a New York local, I believe. And Quasi, he's obviously from Bermuda. So in Truggy, and I got this video off a WhatsApp group, and I posted it on my Instagram, and I actually found out who actually took the video. His name, RC Jers on Instagram. His name is Kevin Winters, and he has a whole bunch of nice clips and YouTube video from this race. But this 1 minute of this race was so great. Oh man, like that was like Robin is racing. Them guys overtook each other, Quaz and Anthony. Go check it out at RC Jers, man. I posted it up on the No Name RC podcast page as well. So go check it out, man. It's pretty cool. I don't think you can get more exciting than that. And congratulations to Anthony. He actually won that race. And congratulations to my buddy Quasi. He came in second. You know, it's Bermuda, man. We didn't even race during the summer. We only have one track. We ain't even racing during the summer. So Quasi is a talented kid. He just needs to get up and he needs to get to the States more and race some more. I hope that happens for him. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to ramble on too much more. I probably missed a few things. One of the big news in RC this week was Hara going to HB, which was not unexpected for me. But Joseph and I touched on that as well. I'm not sure if there's any coverage from the ENATs this weekend, maybe. But, you know, E-Buggy pays the bills, and there's going to be some good racing. So maybe we'll see some videos from there. I know the TSOC race is happening this weekend at WCRC, which is Bobby Moore's track. He's putting a new layout for that. That should be good. That's a popular series in the Carolinas. They race IFMAR style racing and all that. So hopefully they get it off. Supposed to be some rain, which is always the story, man. It's always raining. So I don't know. Yeah. Enjoy this podcast. Please like and share. Thank you to Joseph and Jeff and everybody that helps out with this and makes it happen. We can't do it without those guys either, giving their time and their time to talk with us. And look forward, we got some exciting podcasts coming up. I'm actually going to record later on today with an icon in the industry, and I can't wait. I'm trying to get some more icons on board, and we can't do without you guys. So enjoy episode 35. Here's Joseph and I doing our Euros recap. Hey, so what's up, Joseph? How you doing, man? You're fresh off the Euros. Where are you now?
Yeah, now I'm in Asti. We're preparing for the next RCGP.
How is Asti? What's so special about Asti? What makes it such a... I saw some pictures of just aerial pictures of the track. What makes it so great there?
It's just the track, the layout, the jumps, the surface. Diego does a good job of keeping the track fun, and all the Italians like it. The other Europeans who have been at the track like it. So, yeah, it was obviously a track that we had to visit for the first year.
How about the surrounding area? What is Asti famous for?
I don't know. It's kind of countryside. There's a lot of, what are they called where they grow wine?
Vineyards?
Wine groves, vineyards, yeah.
So it's probably a wine town or whatever. So that's good.
Yeah, I think we're in wine country here.
Oh, there's a lot of money there then. So, yeah, good stuff. I sort of, I said.
So we just arrived today. So we unloaded all the stuff from fairing and making a plan for where to put all the banners, and Diego's redoing the layout because the layout will be new for the race. So we're just measuring everything, figuring everything out. So then after today, we'll head to another track for some practice and then come back with about a week to go to the event and then start putting everything up.
The track looks really big too. Is it?
I think it's normal size. I think it's a bit deceiving in pictures, videos. Okay. It's a good size. Normal.
So where are you guys headed to after this then?
I can't remember the name of the track, but there's a local track to Torino or Turin. Is it Turin in English?
Yeah.
So we'll be somewhere there.
All right. Well, good stuff. You're in Italy. Hey, are you like using those toilets that you have to squat or?
I haven't come across one yet, so so far so good.
I saw like Matt posted a picture during the Euros, and he was like, "Why Italy? Why Italy?" It was like where you have to like squat. I guess I don't know if that was in his hotel room or whatever. I don't know what RC Racing TV's budget was for the Euros, but I guess it's a normal thing in Italy, eh?
Yeah, they still have them. I don't know why.
You know,
It's strange.
you know, when I was working in UAE the first time, I came across that, and I was like, "What the hell? Where's the toilets?" And like urinals and stuff. So I thought, I was like, well, I'm not gonna squat there. And then I went to this thing which I thought was the urinals, but it's actually where the guys, us dropping the piss, is where the guys actually washed their feet before they went in, and I like they looked at me like I had done like the worst thing ever. I was like, man, I thought it was a urinal. So I don't know, man. Just it's funny when you go to different cultures and you see different things you just don't know any different. So I was pretty ignorant about that.
I actually don't know how you're supposed to use it. Like, are you supposed to undress completely or what? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe this isn't. We're talking about the Euros. We're not talking about different toilets. But yeah, I did notice that picture. I thought it was unique. Like, it reminded me of a trip that I made. But just for people to know, it's not all old hotels and stuff like that. It's just something that I saw, and it stuck out in my brain with over the Euros. So, all right, Joseph, you saw it in person. I watched it through RC Racing TV. They did a fine job of covering it starting on the Thursday. The Euros, man, I can say before we even get started, I want to say congratulations to Ricardo Berton on such a great race. He did everything necessary to win that. I think this is the race we've all been waiting for from him because we knew he had the talent. I think he's firmly established himself as Kyosho's #1 driver now. And yeah, congratulations to him. Congratulations to Kyosho. I know the Kyosho guys are excited about it. So yeah, great race, dude. Probably the best 45 minutes of nitro racing I've ever seen, and will be etched in my mind forever. I said it before. I think I had an RC orgasm after watching that. Literally, my son and I were watching it early in the morning. I had got up 2:30 in the morning to watch it, and it didn't start till 3:30. I enjoyed it, and my son and I were literally shouting at the TV while watching that. So I can only imagine the ambience and atmosphere being there in person.
Yeah, it was a great race to watch live, and great. They had the bleachers on one side of the track, so it was full. So there was a good atmosphere also.
Yeah,
especially those times when the leaders were close or someone was catching, and every time the cars went by, there were cheers. So it was good.
Yeah, I thought
really good race.
Okay, I thought they had two sets of bleachers. It looked like people were sitting on both ends of the track. But anyway, I do have some criticisms about the track and the event itself. I wasn't there, but just watching from my couch. I do have to say this: if nobody's watched that final yet, then you should really go watch it. If you want to see what exciting racing is, and what Euro style racing, and what tracks that don't have 100% traction, and this track didn't have big stupid jumps, but it had lots of speed. You should go watch this because it was a very exciting race, and there was races from the start to the finish. I mean, it was exciting. We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, the semifinals were good also.
Yeah,
they were good to watch too.
And the LCQ was good as well. Yeah. So yeah, all right. Well, first off, I wanna start out. I actually watched if people don't know, this was the Ongaro ring. It's David Ongaro's home track. I don't know if his dad owns it, but I think his dad's responsible for the upkeep of the track or whatnot. Am I correct saying that?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, yeah, but I watched this. I watched Boots win his Euros there in 2015, and then I started watching it last weekend, sorry. And the first thing I noticed was, man, they didn't really dress the track up like they did for 2015. That was my biggest disappointment, honestly, is it looked like a backyard track. It didn't look like it did in 2015. It didn't have the track layout was pretty much the same, and layout I didn't have no issue with, but the actual dressing it up, paint, and
well, that's just in a way. It's in Finland we would say vähän sinne päin, which means it's in the right direction. it's like a bit in the right direction. So basically meaning that the attitude sort of is like, yeah, it's good enough. Like, you don't have to make it 100%. Like, it's okay.
Well, I think what it is that they're just more busy now. You know what I mean?
It's not that. It's just culture. It's just the way it is. Like, if you come to Italy, you'll see it. It's just Mediterranean. It's like, let's have a siesta. It's okay. It's fine. You don't need to put up all the banners and clean stuff and fix stuff. Like, the track is there. The transponder loop works. They have covered pits. It's fine. So on one hand, like, if that's your attitude, it's fine. It was great. But if you want to make it look immaculate and look like an event and be special and stand out in people's minds, then yeah, obviously it doesn't.
Well, I think they definitely dropped the ball on that. How was the weather leading up? Did they get a lot of rain leading up to the actual event, or?
Yeah, there was rain before and during the event. So, but still, that's no excuse.
Yeah, I thought
even with perfect weather, it would have looked the same.
I am disappointed, especially after the Nationals. You know, the Nationals, the track looks so great. They put a lot of time in making it look good, and I think that's important for these big events. You know, it makes it we always say, you treat it professionally, and people will take it professionally. Well, like I said, the biggest gripe I got from most of my American friends was like, man, this is a Euros. This looks like a backyard track. So they definitely dropped the ball on that. But they did such a good job in 2015, and then they just didn't really. I guess they just didn't put the effort in this time. So people really say, well, you're pissing and moaning about small things, but it isn't small things. Like, this is the European Championships.
Yeah, it depends on what you want. Like, it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of just racing. I think it doesn't really matter, but for the overall image and atmosphere and all that, that's where it matters. So if you don't care about that, no big deal.
Yeah.
Driving around the track, it doesn't really matter how the banners look.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, being as this was going to be broadcast to people around the world, I think you need to put that extra effort in.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my biggest complaint.
Well, maybe, you know, EFRA will fix that.
Yeah.
They've been around for how many years? You know, I think that's their job.
Yeah. Well, that's a couple of things I want to ask about EFRA too. And my second biggest gripe was the scoring was horrible. The website that they used was just I mean, let's be realistic. Live RC is the best scoring in RC. Period.
I don't know about that.
No, but
Everlaps is pretty good too.
Well, what was the
Live RC is just what you know.
No, but I've looked at Everlaps. I even prefer my RCM, which is decent. But this was ancient. This was like, I couldn't even get updates. Like, I still haven't got rankings from it for the finals or overall. The scoring was horrible. I believe Stefan helped the RC racing crew get their scoring up and decent. I think by mains time, like, was it? Yeah, by Saturday, they had decent scoring. Or maybe it was Friday when the main started. So congratulations to Stefan for getting that up and running for them, because that made a big difference. But going to the website and looking at scoring, it was just horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty hopeless.
So those are my two things that I was highly disappointed in, and this is 2019, and things shouldn't even be that way. So I don't know. Two things that they have to work on for next year when they go to Rendezvous. So.
Well, that won't be a problem because the scoring is an Italian thing. So in Italy, the races use some Italian program, and they don't really have. It doesn't work on Live RC or Everlaps or my RCM, so that's why we're stuck with some scoring that no one can figure out online. Yeah, but in Spain they use Everlaps, so it should be fine. It's the same as what RCGP uses.
Okay, all right. Well, that should be great. Those are my two biggest gripes of the event. My positives is that they actually did a really good job of making the track. I mean, with the rain that they got on Monday, that track held. I think the track held up beautifully. I don't know. I wasn't there, but it didn't get too rough. The jump stayed consistent.
Yeah, I think it got suitably rough.
Yeah.
It's crazy how quickly it dries over there, though.
Yeah, it was.
If we got that amount of rain in Finland, the track would be wet for a week. it doesn't matter what you do. It would seriously take days. But over there, it didn't. So,
They got
normally it dries without doing anything. It dries in a day, which is just insane. But Mauro went there, I guess, like 5 a.m. or something like that, 4 or 5 a.m. in the mornings, just, to get the track ready. So he was working crazy hours so we could race.
Yeah.
So hats off to him for
him and his
all
track
the work
crew.
and
What were they doing to
whatever crew he had there?
What were they doing to drive the track?
There were like 20 people working at the event or something like that. So
yeah,
it was a big effort.
They definitely pulled off some miracles there. What were they doing to dry the track and to just work and just taking the water off, or
Yeah, just brush the water off and throw down some sawdust, and the sun and heat did the rest.
Yeah, so congratulations and kudos to the Angaro's father and the track crew, because they did a grand job of doing it, of making that track raceable, especially after Monday. It was like hailing on Monday.
Yeah, other than maybe not looking the part, everything else kind of was the part. Like they had restaurant level food there, pasta, pizza, beers, a beer tent, all kinds of snacks. So they had all the food and drink side covered, and there was like a covered sort of seating area, acting like a restaurant there, and we had a big pit tent where everyone pitted, and everything was really nice. Like the whole facility and everything was good. The cleaning area was okay. So they had enough staff for everything, letting people, up on the driver's stand and mechanics into the pit lane. Like everything was working smoothly. So all of that's good. It's just that maybe it doesn't look that great.
We don't see all of that. I mean, I got to see a little bit of it through the pit walks that they done, and I thought, okay, this is like, it reminded me a lot of most European races that I'm seeing, or like Biddy Design race where they have, the restaurants and like you
after
said,
the opening ceremony, they offered some, small appetizers and drinks and stuff to everyone, and so atmosphere was good. It was like a positive, fun race, I would say.
Yeah, so. Yeah, like I said, my two biggest complaints was the scoring and the way the track looked, the presentation of the track. But after that, I really don't have. I think it was a great event, and like you said, you was there. The ambience and atmosphere was good. So kudos to everybody involved for pulling it off, especially with the weather. And it comes back to our point about this race was capped at 100. I didn't realize that the Euros was only capped at 150 entries. I think they had 138, so they were about 12 less. Maybe I think the weather scared people off. But here you have an event that has less people racing one class. It was comfortable for everybody. It got rain and everything else, and everybody still had a good time, and there was great racing. And you was done early, so you can go enjoy your evening, and you didn't have to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. What time were they starting in the mornings? 8 o'clock?
Like 8:39, something like that.
So that's comfortable, looks like a very comfortable event. Capped entries. How much does the Euros cost to enter?
The Finnish Federation used to pay for it, so now recently we've had to start paying. I think it's about $200. I can't remember.
Okay, so it's just probably a little bit more expensive than what the old Neo used to cost.
Yeah,
but this is the European Championship, so
it's 5 days long. I think it should be 4.
Okay,
would be better.
Yeah, well, at least the practice schedule is everybody's on a schedule. There's no open practice or anything like that. You just go and you do that. All right.
Yeah, typically you get to run like 4 or 5 times a day.
Yeah, I think it was great. And like I said, I will say again, kudos to the track crew, Mr. Ongaro and his people that put it together. I know it, and also to be like pitting and working with your son and making sure everybody's happy and doing all that stuff. It was, they probably need a vacation after that, because I saw him. He was everywhere. Like on the video, he was turn marshalling, he's pitting, he's doing this, he's doing that. I said, man, this guy must have like unlimited amounts of energy, because he was all over the place. So congratulations, Mr. Ongaro. I don't know how to say your first name. Okay, let's get on to the racing, Joseph. So you was there, and you guys didn't get all the practice that you wanted, correct? You got one day was rained out, or how, I can't remember exactly.
No, we got to run everything. They just, I think, first day they skipped the first round of practice.
Okay. So you go in and okay, you was in the quarters. Max bumped up to the quarters. They was going up right up to the end of the quarters on Friday, and you got rained out. What was you in panic mode at that point when it started raining? Because I could just imagine. I've seen when you get freaked out at a race. What was you thinking? It's starting to rain.
No, I just taped up the body, and we were actually ready, like going up to the driver's stand and pit lane. But then they decided to not run the race. So
okay,
yeah, it would have been fine. I would have actually preferred almost to run it then.
Yeah,
but
and I watched your quarter. I got up early to watch your quarterfinal, and I don't know why did you came in the pits when it was so busy. Because you was driving well, your car looked good, and then you came in the pits while it was busy, and then you got hit. You bubbled, like you pit. I think you kind of bubbled coming in.
Well, I only came in pit lane with one other guy. So,
right, but it
wasn't like it was super busy. But then he pitted next to me and was put down in front of me, and then he flamed out when he was exiting. So then I had nowhere to go.
And then it was just a pile up.
Other cars then, got caught behind us, and yeah.
Then you got stuck.
And when I got marshaled, I got placed on the
I saw that
edge of the pit lane, so not in pit lane, but kind of half in, half out. And then I couldn't get off, and I just went all the way down pit lane to the end.
It hit the wall
into the fence, and then I couldn't get off there. So yeah, it took like 15 seconds.
I was like, that's the end of his race. That's it. And then Max was in a bump up spot, and he was doing well. I mean, Valente and them guys were flying ahead of him, but he didn't need to beat those guys. He just needed to come fourth. And then he comes in on an empty pit lane, messes up.
Yeah, just too much of a hurry.
Yeah, and he
crashed him.
He goes, well, did you see the F official just look at my car a few times? I was like, yes, I did, but you shouldn't have crashed there. So, you had no excuse. You can only blame yourself, buddy. So tough luck for him.
Yeah.
That put him back so far, but he did make up some time. But if that wouldn't have happened,
without that, he probably would have bumped.
Yeah, so it was the last podcast. Jeff and I talked about excuses. So the only person that you can blame for that is yourself in that instance. So anyway, that was the end of the JQ Euros push. But I mean, then we hit the semis. Borak Kilic, he bumped up to the semis. Who else bumped up from? I don't really remember exactly who else bumped up, but Borak stands out because Borak actually bumped from the quarters to the semis. Then had to go to the LCQ. Then he won the LCQ and came third. So for me...
Yeah, and in the semis, he barely missed it.
Yeah.
He basically crossed the line same time with
Baldo, I think. I think it was Baldo, yeah.
They were going for it in the last corner.
So it was just...
Baldo got it, yeah.
Yeah. It was exciting racing and all the things. I mean, yes. And then I can't remember who was... So they took the top 6 and then one. Yeah, so it was 13. So Baldo and him went down to the wire, and then that was the semi. See, I can't remember. It's been so long. What about the next
semi A?
Yeah, and what about the next semi? Was there anything exciting about that?
Well, I mean, Neil Craig was in a position where he probably should have bumped. He probably should have made the main, but
he made some mistakes.
He made a couple of mistakes on his own, and the other one really hurt him bad. He crashed in the middle of the track, and that's when he really lost it. So I think Craig should have been in the main. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and then I think he
had the speed, and he just lost so much in that one crash.
Yeah, and then I believe even earlier on, him and Leo Valente got in it really bad, and he that
was in their last chance then.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
But in the semi, he had so much speed. And like you said, I think that section, exactly where you're talking about, is what cost a lot of drivers because it was very hard to marshal there, especially if there were cars coming.
In the middle of the track, sort of a double followed by a triple or
Yeah.
Or what was it? Something
A
like that.
single
No,
or
a triple followed by
a single or double.
something.
Okay.
I can't remember anymore.
Well, if you
I
made
did
a mistake,
million laps on the track after the race, and I can't remember.
hey,
It starts with a triple, and then there's this weird sort of tabletop thing you just launch into the corner.
One thing I saw that you was doing, and I didn't see many other drivers doing that. And just to go back to you, during your quarter, you was triple singling the quad on the very end of the.
Yeah, it's weird. I actually think it was easier to triple single, because if you wanted to double fast, you had to sort of break into the first double, because both doubles were too short, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you sort of had to, if you tried to hit it fast and break, and then do the second double, and then do the corner. So it was harder to do that than just punch it from the corner, triple, then single, and then do that next corner. So it was easier for me to triple single. It looks more spectacular and harder, but it was actually easier to do.
Yeah, you made up good time on there. You didn't lose any time at all, and I
think it worked out to be pretty much the same, all said and done.
But it was good, and I was like, wow, I think maybe one of the younger guys were doing it too, but like you was one of the most known. You did it every lap, and I was like, check Joseph out there tripling and going all Supercross on us. So that was pretty exciting. Okay, LCQ. Now, to all my American fans who complained about me saying that we need an LCQ at the Nationals, well, here we have the argument for having an LCQ. Another exciting, and I like that it was 15 minutes, so you had to do a pit stop. That was great.
Yeah, I was watching, and then Mejobi ran out of fuel on the last lap, and I thought, oh, he tried to go 10. But then, it's 15 minutes? Like, how did he run out?
Yeah, I don't know. Were they thinking that they could get 15 minutes?
No, there's no way. I mean, he had to stop. But just how do you run out? How do you stop in a 15-minute final and then run out of fuel?
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea. But congratulations to Burak, because that was a great drive. And by this time, I'm sure he knows this track by heart. He's got a lot of time on the track now. So he's going in there confident. But he starts last in the final. How old is Burak? 17?
I don't know, maybe 15.
No, he's older than that, Joseph.
No, he looks older than that. I think Burak is 15.
No, he's got to be.
His brother is 13.
He's got to be 16, 17 now. He was 15 2 years ago when he made the semis at.
Trust me, he's young. He has hair on his back, but and chest and a beard, but he's young.
My daughter has hair on her back, so you know. Burak, if you're listening, how old are you? Let us know. Okay.
I think he's 15 and will turn 16 this year.
Okay. All right, and then we had the junior final. Now, this is where I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit confused about this whole junior final thing. So you have a junior final race, and then you have a junior championship, correct?
Yeah, I think they have a junior final, and then but the actual junior champion is whoever is the highest placed junior.
Right.
That's what they do. They've never really sort of made that official.
I think
because even the trophies, like you win first place, and the trophy says something different.
Can you tell Max to go talk Finnish somewhere else, please?
Yeah, Max, go talk Finnish somewhere else. We know what we're doing here on the podcast. You just go organize the van or something.
He's probably telling me off. He's probably pissed off at me.
He basically said the same thing I just said, because he wasn't listening. He just walks up and he thinks he knows.
Well, that's what it happened to Max, because he won the junior final and then he wasn't the junior champion, correct?
Yeah. So whoever's the highest placed junior in the race, because if you make the main, you can't race the junior final, but you'll still win the junior European Championship if you're the highest placed junior in the main.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think
I
think there should just be the junior final. If you make it to the junior final, whoever wins that race is the junior champion. Because what's more important, winning the junior championship?
I tend to agree.
What's more important, winning the junior championship or making the final? I would rather make the final.
Exactly.
So that means
whoever doesn't make the final, they can still become junior champion.
So that means
I don't know. You can see it both ways.
Yeah, but that means that Burak Kilek is then probably the junior champion then.
Yeah.
And then his brother won the junior final.
Yeah.
So
good. They can fight about it then.
Yeah.
Who is actually the junior champion.
And who came second? Was it Valente? No, because he couldn't race it. He could race it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Valente and then Pecco. Man, if Pecco actually did some more racing, he would do much better. He's fast.
What do you mean? He's racing 3 weeks in a row. He's at the 5th scale Euros right now.
Well, okay, but that's 5th scale on grass. I saw the track. It's not that great. But I mean, if he did more 8th scale racing.
Yeah, he's really good.
He is good.
He got 18th in one qualifying round.
I know. I was very impressed by that. So very good. Congratulations, Pecco. His mom was going crazy on the chat on YouTube, so it was pretty good. All right, semis. So what was the atmosphere like? Was you meandering around the pits for the finals? Sorry, was you meandering around the pits before the finals?
Just watching.
Yeah,
I watched them all.
What was you drinking while you was watching?
Mainly water.
Oh, so you wasn't on the beer?
Just a couple.
Okay. So, start of the final. What was your first impressions?
Well, the first thing about the final that I was kind of wondering was the forecast sort of said that it would start raining in the afternoon. And I was just surprised that they didn't sort of hurry up.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised they didn't hurry
breaks up. And this and break and 40+ mains. And I was just wondering that why don't they just get this over and done with? And then sure enough, the main starts, everything's fine, and then it starts raining. And everyone pretty much in the stand was just thinking, why didn't they start this earlier?
I actually thought that myself. I was like, all these breaks, lunch break, this break, that break.
And when you were there, you could kind of see the clouds. And you're just thinking, eventually it's going to rain. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
So, but actually, it sort of made it
better,
more exciting.
So there we go. It worked out. It did make it more exciting. Oh my God. All right. So it starts. Ongaro gets out in front, I think, right? And we're like, oh fuck. Excuse my language.
So before the race, Saxton actually asked me who do you think will win? And then I said, well, obvious answer is Ongaro because he TQ'd, he won his semi. It's the obvious answer. And then I said, but also this could be Berton's breakout race. This could be the race where he sort of finally does what everyone thinks he can do. And it turned out to be that way. So, and I added that the only other drivers who I thought could win were Ronnefalk and Boots. And, well, so in the beginning of the final, Boots crashed on that triple tabletop thing and was sort of back in the pack. So he immediately took himself out of contention. He was fast, but he just lost touch with those guys. Mm-hmm. And Ronnefalk was there. So it really was those three guys. Ongaro was running up front, but Berton was following pretty close. And I don't know if it was the pressure or what, but Ongaro sort of had a couple of shaky moments, and then he had a mistake, and then he was in second. I don't know if he ever dropped down to third also. And that's kind of when the rain started, and then everything started getting mixed up. Because when it started raining, some drivers got faster and other drivers got slower. So, for example, Savoia got a lot faster in the rain. So suddenly we were just watching, and Ongaro started having issues also. So it was Berton, Ronnefalk, and then suddenly we were looking at, oh my God, that's Savoia. Savoia is catching these guys. This is crazy. And the speed that he was going compared to the rest, we were thinking that if it finishes like this, he could actually win.
Yeah. Or at least podium.
The shark is in the water. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's getting wet enough where the shark can actually make some headway here.
Wow, that's experience right there, man.
Yeah.
That's just experience.
But then it stopped raining, and then it kind of screwed him a bit because his engine went all rich, because when it stops raining, then the track gets sticky and muddy. And then he said that his pipe was kind of clogged and made the engine go rich. So his engine went rich, and then maybe other people's tires worked better than they did in the wet. Maybe he didn't have that advantage, and then his pace slowed compared to the others. Mm-hmm. And then it didn't look like he was going to win anymore. But then, at that point, Burak was going crazy fast. So then, for whatever reason, then towards the end of the main, he was the fast guy. and he was started catching, and then he would have still only finished fourth, but then on the last lap, Savoia ran out of fuel because his engine was so rich, and then that's how Burak got third. But also, I think that the rain and then the rain stopping and the track drying, all of that made the race for the win more exciting also, because Berton was fast at first. Then when it started drying, his car started pushing a lot. So then David was catching, and it just made for an interesting final. And then David was leading and Berton was second. And I don't know if the track dried to a point where Berton's car and tires just worked better, or if he adjusted his driving that much. But then he started to look like he had a bit of an edge and he was faster. And so the fact that the track conditions were changing so much made it so different drivers were fast at different times, and also that they had to adjust their driving. And it made for a great race.
And one thing to note is that these guys are still clocking off fast laps in the rain, in the slick, obviously when it dried out, they got faster, but they were still driving extreme at a level that 99% of the people in RC can't even drive at in changing conditions. So I thought it was, I was excited, but I want to rewind it back a little bit. When Ongaro took off, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be another, like, Ongaro gets out to the lead and checks out and laps the whole field. That's what I thought was going to happen. But then,
actually, when it was dry, Robert was really fast also.
Yeah.
So I don't know what would have happened there if the track had stayed dry. And I think also his tire choice was such that it would have been better second half of the main.
Well, that's just typical Battier. So, but I think once Ongaro made those mistakes, I think Berton actually got the lead at some point, right? And then he made a mistake in that triple that we was talking about, and he kind of went off the track. And that's when David inherited the lead early in the race. But I want to give the Viking his props, dude. He drove. I think that sounds like the guys are working on the track. Yeah. Ongaro. I made some notes here. Where is it? No, that's not it. Sorry. Damn it. Sorry, guys. Ronnefalk took over the lead. I think it was with 15 minutes down, maybe less. And he drove, like, he made his car so wide. Like, he drove like that for so long. Like, I was like, he made no mistakes at all for that period of time. It just held off Ongaro, and you could see Ongaro was getting frustrated in the back of him, trying to get around him. And that's when he started making mistakes. And then they came into pit. I remember they came into pit. Ongaro came in first, and then David came in second, I think, I can't remember. And then Ongaro went off. He got out of the pit fast enough, and then they came into pit the same time. I think Ongaro must have got around David. Ongaro got off the pit, and then David came in, and Ongaro got off a little bit earlier than him, and then David went out, and then Ongaro goes over the double and makes a mistake at the thing, and then David overtakes him, and it all starts all over again. I think that was some of the best defensive driving I've ever seen. I mean, Ronnefalk was literally, I know people's gonna be like, Pina, you're hanging off Ronnefalk's nuts because this is one of your favorite drivers, but Ronnefalk literally was not, like, he did not leave the door open for anybody to overtake during that period of time. And that frustrated Ongaro. He couldn't get around him. Frustrated him a lot. Yeah. So and then it rained. I remember Nick, and now we have globlets of rain dropping. And I was like, oh, now it's going to get exciting. And it did. It freaking well did, man. And wow, even to the last, like I didn't even know which car was which. How could you couldn't even see they were Braun and, and I don't know.
It's easier when you're watching live.
Okay. I couldn't tell. Nick couldn't tell. But then and this is, I think this is what I think. And Jeff and I talked about it because I recorded with Jeff before I recorded with you for the rant. He thinks, and I kind of think the same thing. I think once Ongaro flamed, Ronnefalk kind of turned it down and said, I got this. I think I got this. So I could back it off a bit. Maybe he was, he didn't want to go 100% because, he's got DNC in the back of his mind and stuff like that. And, he's come up short a little bit on the RCGP, except for the last RCGP where he almost got Ungaro. I think he just said, I got this. Berton has one more pit than me. I got this. And then he came in for his last pit, and he just he was slow. I don't know what happened. I think he even slowed down even more. And then Berton just came in for his last pit and was like, yeah, I'm gonna send it without responsibility.
Yeah, it was interesting because Berton caught Ronnefalk and got by and pulled away, but then Ronnefalk
picked it up,
started catching again.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually looked at the lap times that did Berton slow, or did Ronnefalk just pick it up?
I don't know.
Yeah, you might be right that he was kind of not pushing enough to where he wasn't pushing enough to where he could keep Berton at bay. As long as there's a few second gap, you kind of, when you're chasing, you have to battle the fact I'm not catching, there's no hope. But as soon as you start catching, you get more confident, and you get that feeling I'm catching this guy. And also, it's harder to lead them because how do you then pick up the pace? You can see someone's catching, and it's like a mental game at that point.
Yeah.
So when you have a okay lead, you just need to keep pushing so that the second place guy can't start catching and gain confidence.
That's exactly what Berton did, man. He came out of his pit, and I was like, Ronnefalk should be so much ahead of him. And I just saw I don't know, you might say something went wrong with his car, but I don't think so, man, because I just think maybe his car was rich after the pit. Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know. But I think he just got too cautious. Berton he got on the gas, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be a race. He overtook Ronnefalk, and then Ronnefalk was like, oh shit, he overtook me.
Yeah, how about that? How about that move though? That was really good.
Yeah,
jumping right to the inside, even two tires on the inside pipe.
Oh, the crowd must have.
Really good pass.
I heard the crowd and they were like, "Whoa." I was like, oh man, I would honestly give my left nut to be at that race.
Yeah, it was good.
And then Ronnefalk where Ronnefalk made up a lot of time on him in the S section before coming on the straightaway. Oh man, he would come through there so fast. Such a great final, man. I really wanted Ronnefalk to win, but I'm happy that Ricky won. And man, I just thought it was awesome, man. I would have loved to have been there. I could imagine the Italians were going crazy because it's been a while since they've won a European championship. Yeah,
they were cheering. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was a great race, and good job for Savoia. Good job for Burak as well. Great result for him. Those guys have definitely, they made a lot of noise last year at the Euros and Neo, I believe. And this year, they kind of stamped their foot down. Hey, we're here. And more people know who Burak Kilic is now. So, more of the non-European crowd. So, very good final, man. Hey, just a couple of things I wanted to note on too that we forgot to note on. I thought the refereeing was pretty good at this race. There were stop and go penalties, and Battier got a stop and go in his semi. I thought the racing was fairly clean.
Yeah, Mark Stitzen is really good because he's very firm and strict, but he doesn't involve his ego, and that's important for a referee because I think the problem with some people is that it's their way or the highway, that they make a ruling and they have no common sense. So they have to admit their mistakes too. And even at this race, in my incident where the guy flames out and I end up under his wing. Well, I didn't do anything wrong, but when he saw the incident, he just gave me a stop and go. And then my mechanic and I think even John Hazelwood told him that, hey, the guy in front flamed out. So it wasn't worthy of a penalty, and he reversed it. Yeah. So he said, car number 5 or whatever my number was said, there was a mistake. The penalty has been reversed, so no stop and go penalty or something like that. He announced. So just then during the race, and many people who are referees, they wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't
it
admit
doesn't
that
matter
they're
what
wrong.
anyone would say. They would just stick to their, it's just stop and go. And that causes problems, I think, because people's egos get in the way. They can't admit mistakes. So if they don't see something, they just see it's not a penalty. If they see something and they call it wrong, they just stick to it. So I think that's good about Stetson, that he calls everything he sees, and he calls it fairly and how it should be done. So yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, I think it set the tone early, and it led to. I mean, you didn't really see any real. It was super much like compared to
yeah,
what
it was
I saw
clean
tonight.
racing, and that's it. You get clean racing when you give penalties to drivers who don't respect other cars on the track, and you give penalties even if they're world champions, or if they're the crowd favorite, or if they're leading the race. It doesn't matter. If they do something wrong, they get a penalty. It has to be like that way.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Stetson's good at that.
Yeah, well, maybe the Raw Nat should hire him for their next race.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, there was even a case where some driver got a stop and go in the warm-up.
Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy.
So the race hadn't even started and someone was messing around. So time out.
Yeah, set the tone, man. Set the tone. Yeah, of course. Of course. I will agree with you there, buddy.
Yeah.
Here's a little fact that I wanted to shoot out there, and people probably think Keenan's such a nerd. We had 3 sets of brothers in this race. Probably more, but 3 that I know of. You had the Igons.
Probably 4.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the ones that were in the upper mains more, like Yannick and did Jerome make the semi as well?
Yeah.
So you had Jerome and Yannick Igon, legends, French legends. You and Dagani even say Yannick Igon's probably the best ever 8-scale driver to ever live. They make there you have your legends. They're still making semis. You have the Baldo brothers, Brian and Oscar. And Brian is like, I remember Oscar was the faster one, but now it seems like Brian is the guy. So I don't know what's going on there, but they're more like the now fast brothers, like I would say, like more like your generation. They're probably a little younger than you, but like I've known them for a while. And then you have the Kiliches, which are the younger, up and coming, like younger brothers thing. And I think that's a pretty cool thing that shows that families are racing together, and you have 3 generations of brothers that all made up of Adam. Burkan made the quarters, I think. He didn't go all the way, but he's still, still a great performance for Burkan. I think that's pretty cool, and that speaks a lot.
Fourth set of brothers would be Tom and Dan Robin.
Yes, okay. Yeah, and they are no slouches either. Tom's the better, I think, but I think that's so awesome to see. That's 4 sets of brothers, and then and just 4 different generations or 3 different generations, and that's something to note. I think that's healthy for RC. I think that's very healthy.
Yeah, and Berkan Kilic might end up being the faster Kilic brother too.
Yeah, he was good. He was good this weekend.
So we'll see.
Last weekend, yeah, it's interesting. The future of RC racing looks very exciting for Europe. I say that. So
yeah, there was 2 other young guys in the main. So Marco Ravaglia made his first main, and Polito was already in the main last year. So
I've heard
another main. He only got like 2 laps though, because
he
snapped an arm on the back straight. But
Polito, I've heard of. How do you say his last name? Ravaglia. Never heard of him.
Well, now you have. He finished 8th place.
Yeah, what do you know about him?
Just local Italian kid.
Yeah,
I don't think he's raced abroad really.
Yeah. Well, he definitely and young kid is. How old is he? You have any idea?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
he ran a Mugen.
Yeah, well, he done well. That making the finals at a Euro is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
You know who else?
So you know what I have?
What do you
Something
have?
I noticed, which I think is pretty ironic. So Kyosho scales back. No more Tebow. No more boots. People are saying like, oh, Kyosho's done. Oh, the MP10 sucks. Oh, yeah, Jessica Paulson switches. Oh, the car doesn't suit me, So the MP10 sucks. They aren't paying drivers anymore. They don't have professional drivers. What's happening with Kyosho, right? then we have the Euros. What happens? They not only win the Euros, they also have 4 cars in the main and 5 cars in the top 15 because Mejubi just missed the main. He was 15.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't have your top paid drivers. You still win the Euros.
So that's kind of proven the point.
I just don't. It's just incredible. So they had Berton wins fast all week.
Brian Baldo's 7th.
Makes the main, finished 7th. Joao Figueiredo
10th.
Kyosho 10th place. Solid makes the main. Polito 13th.
Yeah.
He broke, but I mean he would have finished higher up than that, definitely. So it's just crazy.
Yeah.
When everyone sort of says that they're done, their car sucks, they don't pay drivers, they're done, then they have their best Euros for a while.
Well, you was one of the people saying that, so.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, there you go. There's mud in your face. So Voya once again was super impressive. I keep referring to him as the old wirely veteran, but Savoya's only 31 years old, but he's just been around for so long. Boots just came up short. I think tire choice screwed Boots. Juan Carlos Canas was never really there all weekend.
Yeah, after the main, when I went to interview him, I was like, wait, did he even make the main? Because he finished 5th, but he was so invisible.
Yeah.
I never really saw him.
Not at all. Not all weekend. He was definitely flying under the radar a lot. Like, I was expecting Canas to maybe fight for TQs of some rounds and stuff like that. And he just didn't. He did it, but he still finished 5th, so I guess that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Badier, like you said, he got a stop and go in the semi and still came back. And I don't even think
he didn't have a good semi at all. He made some mistakes on his own, and then when he was coming back, he got a stop and go. He still made it in, but I mean, Jesus.
He got a stop and go with Canas, I think, or Berton. I can't remember. One of the two.
I can't remember.
But I don't even think it was his fault because the guy kind of brake checked him, and he kind of just hit him like it was a mistake, and he hit him from behind.
Watching it live, it looked like it was his fault. I haven't seen a replay.
But always there. I mean, Badier can never count him out. Figueiredo, I think he had a better performance in him than 10th, but he can go home. I mean,
he was battling with those guys. He was sort of 5th, like 5, 6, something like this. But he flamed out, so that's why he's that low down.
Ongaro.
He had rain issues.
Yeah, which is to be expected. Ongaro, still the fastest all week, but hey man, the rain.
I mean, even on a dry, even if it had stayed dry the whole race, I'm not so sure he would have won. Like, it's not it's not said that he would have won.
Okay. And our always favorite and the roughest drive, and I'll probably be getting the name for the roughest drive in RC because Boots talked about it on the short on episode 34. Thank you, Joseph, for the short interviews that we got. Marco Barufalo. Man, nobody wants to race with Marco right now.
I know, but he's in the next RCGP race.
But he's so fast. But I think he just, like we talk about it, like he just doesn't have, he's, like you said, you think he expects everybody else to be as fast as him. So maybe he just, and he does these things unknowingly or just, I don't know. Because he can't be, he's so good. He should be better. Like, even during the week, he was, like, fighting for TQ. Like, he was in TQ spots, and then he'll make a mistake or break or something like that, and he'll fall off. So, he's just missing one component, and I think that's track awareness, racecraft. He doesn't have racecraft. So, if he can get racecraft, oh, man, it's not many people out there that's going to stop Barufalo.
Yep. But then again, I mean, he's basically being matched by Ronne Falk, Berton, Ongaro, and they have racecraft.
Yeah.
And they aren't going nuts, Yeah. They are doing those lap times without going nuts. So he needs to kind of figure out a way to tone it down a bit, but stay the same speed.
Yeah, I don't know. But let's see what he does in RCGP. Oh, man, I'm pretty sure him and Boots are going to have some words. I'm pretty sure. They're not the best friends right now. Like, nobody's really friends with Marco right now. So, I don't know. But it makes it exciting. I think he's an exciting racer, dude. I honestly do. And I like to see him. I like to watch him race. Like at DNC, the stuff that he was doing at DNC, I was like, God, wow. How could you do that? Like, but hey, I don't know. The Viking, man. Ronnefalk, man. Ronnefalk hasn't won for a while, man.
I think he really wanted to win this.
Yeah.
Really badly. And then
time.
to miss the win by so little. Yeah, that was probably tough.
Yeah. And such an exciting race. And he would have been 4-time European champion. Like,
yeah, and I think for a driver of that level, to finish second, like many people would think like, oh, second's good. Second's still good. I bet you it feels as bad as if he wasn't even in the main.
Yeah. Especially when
he was second, but still it's like, because he's there to win and he had it, like he was that close.
Yeah.
He could have won. Like I'm sure he feels like he could and should have won. Had
the loop on that track been at the start of the straightaway, he would have won. Like,
why is that?
Because
you think he would have passed him that?
Yeah, he would have got him in that section where he's so much faster. Man, I guess. Well, you know what? I hope this fires him up because I like to see him do well at RCGP in first weekend of August. So should be good. And he wants to. I know. Well, he beat Ongaro, but I know he wants to beat Ongaro where fair and square. And you know what? As of today, he's as of yesterday, he's number 1 in the world according to the top 25 rankings.
I guess Ongaro shouldn't have raced. He maybe would still be number 1 if he didn't race.
By the way, we did an interview. I did interview the guy from the top 25. I believe that's going to be next week's podcast. So
that's good.
Yeah. So
did you convince him to make a list of the races that count, and then so people know which races count before the year?
Yeah, we talked about that. You have to wait to the podcast so you can listen to. Maybe you actually listen to my podcast once, and then you can.
I'll listen to that one.
Yeah, I'm sure. He actually talks good about you too. So, surprises. You know who surprised me at this race was the guy from Portugal, Ricardo Monteiro. He did well.
Monteiro?
Yeah, he surprised me.
He kind of always does about that.
I don't know, but I guess I just noticed him this time. I don't know.
I don't know. Huh. I think he kind of always does sort of that sort of level.
Yeah. You know who I'm shocked wasn't at this race? Bernardi.
Yeah, what's he doing? Is he trying to get in the B Euros again?
He won the B Euros.
If you win it, aren't you out?
Yeah.
Or can you go back?
No, you're out.
Yes, I don't know why he wasn't there.
Yeah, it's shocking that he wasn't there. All right. Well, how about you? Any other things before we what are you doing? Are you driving?
Let's go through like the surprises and the surprises and disappointments.
All right. Well, Okay, let's do that. You go first.
So the surprises are like who overperformed? Positive. I think Berton definitely, because some people maybe mentioned him, but he wasn't really like, oh yeah, Berton's got this. Everyone was thinking Ronnefalk, or Boots, or Ongaro, or Batier, right?
Yes.
Berton was like 5th on the list, maybe, for most people. So the fact that he was so solid, almost TQing the race, winning his semi, and then winning the main, like that, I think, he overperformed. He exceeded the expectations.
I think he exceeded our expectations for this race.
He fulfilled his potential.
Yes, there
but
we go.
Exceeded his expectations. Let's put it that way.
I knew when they signed him and got rid of Boots, it was like between him and CJ, who were going to be Kyosho's number 1 drivers, and then Yao has done well recently too, and Berton hasn't. But now I think he's kind of sealed his I'm number 1 Kyosho guy in the world now. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So
second positive I would say is Burak.
Yes, very much.
Burak was, I think, way above what anyone expected.
Were they running the new car yet?
Yes. Yeah, they ran the new car.
Okay.
Yes, the rain did help him.
But he bumped from the quarter.
But still, it would be interesting to see where he would finish had the race stayed dry. But just amazing. How everything worked out, yes.
To bump from the quarterfinals to the semi and then win the LCQ I think that's amazing. I think that's one of the biggest stories of this whole event. LCQs, man. LCQs got to have them.
Savoia also. I think Savoia was faster and more solid than what I expected. Even throughout qualifying, throughout the semi-final, he was good. He was there.
TLR's number one 8-scale driver.
Yeah, I guess. He qualified 8th overall, but he had some really good runs. He was always there. He was kind of he featured in the race. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I would agree there.
And then a good run for Ravaglia, making his first main.
Yeah, I'd like to see this kid race some more. Like
I'm sure he will after this.
And in some bigger races and get out of Italy, maybe.
Yeah. And other than that, let's see.
Battier is
any other positives? I can't think of anything.
Baldo. I would say Brian. He was a shock to me.
Nah.
Yeah, 7th. I forgot that he didn't even make the main. He made the main last year because it seems like they don't race as much as they used to. And I always seem to equate, when I heard of the Baldo brothers, I always thought Oscar. Oscar was the better of them. But Brian's doing better than him now. So
the Igon brothers were actually good.
A big shock. Yeah.
Yannick was fast. But I mean, it's so weird. Yannick doesn't race much at all. And then sometimes he's just there, like he's on it. Like in Spain, didn't he finish second at the Euros in Spain?
I can't remember.
It's just nuts.
He's awesome, dude.
Crazy.
He's just, he's just the guy who should have won the world twice.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how many races he raced that year. Like before the Euros that year when he finished second, out of nowhere. How many times did he race? Like 3?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
You know who shocked me
too?
Just
shows up and does well.
Was Majube. Majube done well, I think.
Yeah, but again, it's sort of same. Sweden, he just made the main.
Yeah, he did make the main in Sweden.
What happened last year? Portugal.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Didn't make the main. Now, first one to miss the main. He's kind of like Montero. He's sort of been there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a step up. It wasn't a step back. Just kind of sort of same.
Yeah, nothing. I think nobody else stands out in my mind.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, and Kyosho. Like I said, Kyosho. That would be the other sort of positive, or like surprise or overachieving. Mm-hmm. So it was a really good Euros for Kyosho. I'm sure Craddock was pleased.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. I'm sure I was looking at all the Kyosho guys on Facebook. They're all and it's deserved. So kudos to them. Yeah. Congratulations.
So disappointments. Well, you said the track prep, how everything looked.
Mm-hmm.
As for the racing, I would say Boots is probably pretty disappointed.
Yep.
He was faster than what he showed in the main because of his crash there in the middle. So early on, he was in the back of the pack. Then it started raining, and he just never got anywhere. So had he not crashed there, maybe he would have featured at the top. So I think he's disappointed probably, and yeah, I would say that
he's rightful to be disappointed.
A bit of a disappointment because he was so fast in practice, but then in qualifying he was like, just missed TQ, just missed this, just missed that, and then last round he did TQ then. So
Canas, I was expecting Canas to be just more visible all weekend. He just seemed like he done enough to get in, and
still solid though. Fifth race is good.
Yeah, solid. Battier is the other disappointment.
Yeah, for sure. He was never really up there and one of the guys to win. I think.
And Barufalo, I would not mark Barufalo as a disappointment too, because I was expecting him in my top 5. I
thought he would be right up there, and he never was.
So let's see who did.
I mean, in qualifying, he qualified 7. So.
Yeah. Who's Jorge Sola? He's from, just looking at some names here.
Spanish guy.
Zanchetin. Yes. Let's talk about Zanchetin.
Yeah.
Because he was fast. And then, he did well in qualifying and whatnot, but just missed out in the semis.
Yeah, he was solid in qualifying. Qualified 6th overall, just behind David Ronfalk, ahead of Barufalo too.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, I don't know. The track was different because of the rain. So in the semis, he was just struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And he said that in his...
didn't make it.
And he said that in his race report. He goes, I just failed. And that's pretty good. But he had speed. It wasn't like he didn't have speed. He just...
Yeah, he was really good in qualifying.
Yeah. But like everybody has to race into this race, so...
Yeah, the conditions changed for the final day, and tire choice, car setup, just wasn't right.
All right. I think another disappointment was Leonardo Volante.
Yeah, I expected him to make the main, especially because he was so fast in fairing at the RCGP. So he raced the RC2 class, but his lap times were matching the fast guys in RCGP. He easily won the RC2 class. And it looked like, well, this guy, home track in that he can just drive there to practice. He's been there many times. You would think he does well, and then sort of never really happened.
Yeah, he did take out Neil Craig into the LCQ badly, though. So,
well, that happened.
Yeah,
I don't know. He runs. Doesn't he run Seismic tires?
No,
or does he run T-Pro?
T-Pro.
He runs T-Pro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember we were talking. So it was T-Pro. So if he runs T-Pro, another guy who I think also runs T-Pro is Misha Widmeyer.
Mm-hmm.
And he also had a really bad Euros. So maybe if they were running those tires, they just didn't figure out the right tire, right compound, or they didn't have it. Maybe that could explain why they both didn't do that well.
Okay. Tom Robin, or whatever you call him, from France, makes the semi, still hasn't made the final yet. Is he running out of time?
Qualified direct in... I don't know. He's just sort of one of those guys like Mejubi and Monteiro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how serious he is, how much he's practicing, what his goals are. He could improve still and start being like Polito now, 2 mains in a row, or something like that. But I don't know. Like Monteiro, he has a real job. He doesn't really practice or race that much.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of it. This is where he is.
Just talent.
But yeah, Tom, I don't know.
All right. Outside of that, any other disappointments? I would say I'm disappointed in you, but not really. I'm
kind of disappointed. The only way I would have done well is if from the beginning I was happy with my car, everything worked, and I was comfortable, and I wasn't. So this year I haven't really driven much, so I can't really I can't really expect too much either.
Mm-hmm.
If the track is perfect, everything works great, yeah, I can do well. But if it isn't, then
you're getting old.
I'm gonna suck.
You're getting old, dude. Just face it. You're getting old. Just face it. Over 40s, almost
here.
here.
In RC, it really doesn't matter. I can't wait for Mayfield and Cavalieri to keep winning late into their careers, because then you'll finally shut up about this age thing.
No,
it has nothing to do with age. We're driving RC cars. It has everything to do with priorities. You get a family, you don't practice, you don't wrench, you don't focus on your racing as much. That's why you slow down.
No.
There is no reason why Mayfield would get slower because he turns 38.
Did I touch a nerve?
No reason at all.
I think I've touched a nerve.
No, but I'm just saying, like every time you're getting old, it's got nothing to do with it.
You just don't want to admit that you're getting old, dude.
Nothing to do with it.
4 more years and you be in the 40 plus Euros. Don't worry. 4 more years, you can go race 40 plus Euros.
It has nothing to do with it. I can't wait for these guys to prove you wrong.
Yeah, okay.
I really can't.
But then
Too bad they both just had kids.
I'll be honest with you. I think Max just didn't have the Euros that he should have had. Like he's capable of much better. He should have had better qualifying runs.
Max. I would put Max into a disappointment too. Really, I mean, he should have qualified easily direct to the semis.
Yeah, and then in a bump position and you make that mistake. So, well, I can't really say much.
Shouldn't happen either.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Not at this stage, and but That's just me being honest. I hope he learns from it, and I hope he can do better.
Racecraft.
Yeah.
It's racecraft.
It's something that you have to learn. It's not something that it has to be taught as well. You know what I mean? So you have to listen to people that are experienced. So, he has access to that. He has access to you. He has access to Dagani. So he should use that. And Dagani is one of the best racecraft guys I've ever met. Listen to you and Dagani talk is like crazy. But all in all, a great event. I love the Euros. It was awesome. We have the 10 scale Euros this weekend. We have that coming up. It should be interesting at Pinerolo, where the Worlds will actually. Is it at the same place it was last year? No.
It's the same place it has been at before. I don't remember when.
Right. It's in Italy.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it confused.
And 8 scale Euros next year at Radovan again.
Why?
So they have a new layout for Radovan.
But why is it
that go there for the Euros, and then I don't know why they keep going to the same tracks, because they have. I think the problem is that EFRA have these guidelines and requirements for Euros, but I think they're the wrong requirements, because we keep going to places, and I don't mean that this is now one of the bad places, but we keep going to places that don't necessarily have tracks that people like, and they aren't all that great, and we repeatedly go to those places, and then there are nicer tracks and facilities available that we never go to. So the question is, why is that? So what are the requirements that these certain tracks feel that we go there, and then others that everyone loves, we never go there? I just don't get it. So we end up going to the same places over and over, when there are so many great tracks in Europe we could go to also. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I think EFRA should look into that.
Yeah, and it's nothing wrong with Radovan. I think it's one of the best facilities in the world. If they put a new layout in, then it's even better. But, yeah, I mean, they had the Euros here in 2015, so 4 years ago. Yeah, I just think it could... I know there's a lot more tracks in Europe than just these few that they're having them on. So hopefully they change it up. Maybe the tracks don't bid either. Maybe they're scared to bid.
Yeah, because I said they have some requirements, but maybe they have the wrong ones.
Oh well. RCGP in the first weekend of August, which should be good. Still some unknown factors. We don't know who's all going to be racing there, like with the Beach RC. I don't know. A little birdie told me something the other day, but we have to wait until that's officially. And like everybody's asking me about America, but we gotta wait like everybody else. So should be good.
Yeah, probably end of this week or next week we can announce when and where it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's good. And guess what? We have
looking like October anyway in California. So that's what it's looking like.
And guess what? You have your favorite nationals of all going on this weekend, Joseph. Your favorite class in all of RC.
5th scale?
E-Nats.
E-Nats.
Yeah, but it's actually got a good lineup. I think Lutz.
I won't be watching that then.
I think Lutz, Cav, Mayfield, Rivkin, everybody's like all the top guys are there. So that'd be exciting to watch.
Yeah. So anyway, to get back what I was saying about Radovan, so they have the Euros next year, and then the following year, so the 2022 Worlds, I heard are going to be in Radovan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
So that's what I hear.
That should be good. Oh, man. It'd be badass to see all the Americans and everybody from the world race on that big track.
Oh, all right. And also two interesting stats to end this with. So Craig said, he said every single time he's gone to the Euros in 8 scale, he has qualified into the semifinal. And this time he was close. And it was looking like he wasn't going to make it. Then he had a good last round, I think. But yep, so he still has a perfect score.
Yeah.
And then another stat for you. So guess how many mains Robert Baccier has made in a row?
Oh, they said this on the thing, but I can't remember. How many?
14.
Wow.
So for 14 years, he's always made the main. And the thing is, it's not that. It's that you have to make the main through a semi-final. And like we saw, Raw Nationals, 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
And this guy, 14 years in a row, made the main.
Yeah. And he's won it 3 times.
Yeah.
And he's probably thrown it away a few times, too. Lots more racing to come on. You have a big race in Portugal coming up. You have, lots of racing going on, dude. I'm looking forward to the 10-scale Euros, 10-scale Nationals. And maybe not so the 10-scale Nationals. It looks like it's indoor, and I'm not too big on that. But when are the Worlds?
September, I think.
Okay. Good racing. Lots of people to interview. Oh, we didn't even talk about the other big news.
Yeah, I mean, Yannick and Jerome are gone, but like no factory presence.
No Martin Beyer, no Coelho.
Into this.
Wow, is that just sad or what?
Yeah, they win last year and then kind of nothing. Like, H-scale market down. We're not going to... we have the 10-scale Worlds this year. We're going to focus on that.
Yeah, we're going to burn 3 million laps there and win it.
Yeah.
Bruno's going to win it. That's who they want to win.
You think so?
That's who they want to win.
Martin Beyer wins. That would be even more fun.
How about if Ty wins?
Beyer wins four-wheel drive and Ongaro wins two-wheel drive or something ridiculous.
Yeah, at the Euro 10-scale Euros, is to see how all these guys do, because I know they're all going to race it. And it should be good. Well, what if Ty goes to the Hootie and dominates? That'd be pretty cool too.
I don't know. Has he been there practicing?
No idea. I think he went there last year, but I don't think he's been this year so far. So.
Yeah.
And something else we didn't touch on, some other big news that we talked about a few weeks ago, and when they announced it, you and I both came to the agreement that it would be this person, but HB has hired Hara.
Yeah. Yeah, good move, I think.
Yeah. So after leaving them in 2013, he kind of being like a gypsy for a while. Like, he was truly an RC gypsy. I mean, you're definitely a gypsy, but
yeah, he
went from brand to brand, whoever would pay him to race. And I guess he kind of is like, he's 40 years old. It's like, man, it's time to settle down and get you know what I mean. Get like something solid underneath me. So, and I don't think HB has a really big move in the Asian market because it's pretty much dominated by a lot of the Asian brands.
I'm sure this will help.
Yes, most definitely. So very smart move by HB. And I remember everybody's like, it's going to be this person. It's going to be this person. It's going to be it's going to be Hara. Like, it's simple. Like, it only makes sense. And he can help test and do RD. Do you think this means that HB's going to dwell a little bit more into the on-road scene as well?
I don't know. You should call him and have him on the podcast.
I'm trying. I'm waiting for somebody. I'm trying to have somebody that knows him quite well message him and say, hey, you should come on the podcast. But he's being a stubborn burrito. So he knows who he is too.
Dorito.
Burro.
Who's that, Max?
No, you. Anyway, all right, Joseph. 1 second.
Maybe he'll listen to this podcast and give you a call.
Yeah, I don't know. This podcast is going to be like 4 hours long. Nobody has 4 hours to listen to us. Because we have Rivkin on this weekend. It's actually pretty good. Rivkin done well this weekend too. He won INS. So Rivkin's on a win streak right now. That's pretty good. All right, Joseph. Well, that's enough reminiscing about the Euros. If I leave it to you, you'd break down every corner and every turn and every pass. And we'll be here for 5 hours. So we have to move on to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. All right?
Okay.
You are now locked in to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Check out AssaultRC.com for the latest products for all your performance RC needs. Featuring the best lubes and specialty tools on the market. Use promo code LEFTY19 at checkout for 10% off your entire order at AssaultRC.com.
Welcome to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. This is the segment dedicated to all of your setup questions answered by the village idiot himself, Joseph Quagrian, a.k.a. JQ, or whoever else we have on tap to answer your questions. Joseph is currently at the Asti track, and they are doing some renovations or doing something there, as we talked about in our Euro warm-up. So, Joseph, are you ready for the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment question?
Sono nato pronto.
Okay, so I guess that means, I don't know, something fast.
It means I was born ready in Italian.
Okay, good. I think, you know what? I think you're going to get an Italian girlfriend and end up staying there. The question comes from Steve Battagalagia, who has an Italian last name, actually. And he wanted...
I'm sure his name isn't that.
Yes, it's Battagalagia.
Okay.
So Steve asked me during the Euros, he wanted to ask for the question was, the benefits of a pistol grip radio and a stick radio.
Well, that would be a good question to ask someone like Elliot Boots, who can drive both. I can't really drive sticks, so I don't know. I mean, it's different because I don't know which fingers are faster. Like, is the thumb faster than your index finger? I don't know.
I think the movements of your
throttle
thumb.
control, like, there's a difference definitely in your throttle control, what you can do, how fast, how you can do it. Like, have you seen Ongaro twitch his thumb?
Yes, you can.
I don't know. Can you do that with the pistol grip?
Can you like put your brakes back as fast as he does? You know what I mean?
I think maybe that you can, but like the way he uses his throttle, I'm not sure you can do that. And then, also the other thing that is different actually is on a stick radio, some drivers, what they do is the tension on the spring is pretty hard, so they can let go and it goes to neutral.
Faster.
Now, so in a pistol, you can't really let go and just have it go to neutral. Like you can't do it because you hook your finger in. You can't do it like you do it on a stick radio. Like on a stick radio, you can kind of blip the throttle and let go and it goes to neutral. Well, you can't do that with a pistol radio. Like you can't have that driving style of throttle, let go, brake, let go. Like you can't do that. So it's a different technique. Even
the movement, your side-to-side movement of your thumb, it's so much less movement to do anything. Think about it.
Even your steering with your thumb, you're moving less than you have to actually turn your wrist and hand to turn the wheel. The thumb, you just, twiddle your thumb a bit, you can go left, right. Because I don't know which is, if you really break it down, I'm sure you can do the same.
Well,
you can be the same speed with both, but which is sort of better, like which would be better for a driver? I don't know.
I think the technology in stick radios is more advanced than pistol grip.
Because of helicopters and
because
airplanes?
Mike Hill, who used to be a national level pilot before we met him, we was actually talking while watching Euros again, and he was just telling me little things. He's like, because a radio was a big part of his job because, airplanes is just so much more inputs, right? So everything has to be so much more precise than what we would look at on cars. And he was like, man, it's just the technology with these radios is so more advanced than these pistol grips and things are faster. And, he was like, you'd be surprised how much this millisecond makes a difference. And he goes, he was doing this 10 years ago, and radio technology has improved so much. And he was like, man, when I came over from flying airplanes and I got out for a while and I came back to racing cars, and I used the Spectrum radio for the first time. It was so slow, compared to what he was used to. He was like, the Spectrum radios that, came out and all that stuff. He was saying, I guess his analogy was, he thinks the radio technology is probably catching up to what it was 10 years ago. And, the radio technology in cars is probably catching up to what airplanes was 10 years ago. I think that's what he's trying to say. And so I think there's definitely some, physically there's less movement equals the less you have to move, the faster you can move, the less you have to move, the faster you can move. So, I think there has, these guys prefer, if Boots prefers a stick radio over a pistol, then the only other person we can say is probably get, let's see if Ongaro can drive it for a wheel. So I don't know. I
think it just comes down to what you prefer, what you're more comfortable with. I think you can do the same thing. You can be world champion with it.
Of course. It's I mean, if you're fast, you're fast. But
yeah,
is there a physical benefit or to running a stick radio? Like, do you think if like that would be the question? Like if, let's say Mayfield or one of these guys just said, all right, I'm going to try stick for a year and see what happens. Will they be faster? That would be interesting to see. No, I mean, it would take more than a year, but I don't know, dude. It's a good question. The Euros, and I know guys in Asia use stick radios. Masami used the stick radio forever. So, I don't know.
I think for most people, wheel is more natural. Pistol grip wheel. It's a car. It feels more natural.
Well, I know there's lots of fast guys that run stick too. So, who knows? But it's a good question, and I guess we'll never really know the answer to it. All right. Well, I don't know, Joseph. What, you have anything else to add to that stick radio versus pistol grip?
No, I'm out.
All right.
I'm done with words for the day.
All right. Hey, when is your Facebook ban going to be up?
I think it's a couple of weeks.
Really? It feels like it's been forever.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, have fun in Italy, and thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you later on.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya.
Hi, this is Richard Saxton, and you're listening to the No Name RC podcast.
This week's guest on the No Name RC podcast is the 2019 Raw Fuel Nats champion, 2015 two-wheel drive world champion, and he's won a lot of other races. Mr. Spencer Rivkin. What's up, Spencer? How are you?
Hey, man. Hey, everybody that tunes in. I appreciate you guys having me on.
You know what? We finally got you on because I talked to you at Fall Bro last year. And, finally got you on. I know you've been busy. I've been busy. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And I know you're wrenching right now, but that's good. That's all right. Kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you having me on. I know we've talked way back at that race, and I appreciate your patience with figuring out a good time. Obviously, it's been a long time since we talked, but we're here now. We're getting it done, and we're going to have a good cast going.
Yeah, well, first off, I'd like to say congratulations on your recent win there at the 2019 Nationals there at Thornhill. It was a dominating performance, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah, it may have looked like that on the video, but it was a full-on marathon race from day one when we started there on the travel day, showing up. So the whole team worked really well together. I can't, thank everyone behind me enough. It was a full team effort, whether, my pit guys, Richard and Brent, my tire guys, Jason and Paul and Thomas, and, Kurt Wenger was out there helping out as well. He's actually living out there. So he had some good inside knowledge on what to do to the car when it got to certain levels of traction. So it was a full on team effort. Everyone, when it came down to team drivers and friends supporting, it was awesome. I was happy for myself and for my team.
We had you, Joseph and I did a pre-Nationals podcast, and we talked about guys that could win. And I remember your name came up, and I said, well, you won it in 2016. Why can't you win it again? And you went out there and done that. So
what did he say? Who did he say he was going to win?
I'm not going to lie. I had Mayfield. I had Lutznon as my guy to win. I didn't even have you in my top three, right? But what we did was we went on the list of guys we think can win. And your name came up, and I said, and we both agreed, 2016 you won it, and why couldn't you win it again? So,
right.
I mean, yeah, you kind of proved us wrong. Well, I mean, you did it, dude. That's awesome. 2 years apart. You must have been super hot, super happy. What did you celebrate any?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't leave the track until around 9:30, and the whole associated team went out to this pizza joint in the town that was still open. It was like a brewery, so that was really nice. We had to wake up actually at 2:50 in the morning to leave the next morning to go home. So I mean, I'm only 20 years old, so
Yeah.
I wasn't able to go out anywhere and do anything. But I actually really enjoyed hanging out with the team at dinner. We had some good laughs, and we made it happen. So, I mean, one thing, obviously I did get the win, but I mean, I was, going into that main event, I knew it was going to be tough. I had a lot of confidence, knowing that I already had won this race before at this track. And I know if anybody can drive on, this style surface,
It was you.
I'm definitely one of the guys on high bite is definitely a contender for sure. But it was cool. I'm actually been on a little bit of a streak. Not that anybody counts, but I do my own counting and stuff. But I think the past 4 nationals, I've been on podium at the Roar Nationals. So
Really?
My very first one in 2015 was my very first Roar Nationals in 8 skill. That's when I was just starting out racing Nitro. And I wasn't able to bump into the main. I was in a transfer spot in the semi, but someone crashed on the straightaway. I broke my car. So that was that. In 2016, obviously at Thornhill, I was able to win. It was a good battle with Ryan Mayfield. And then 2017, it was at Dakota Fenn's home track. That's where Tebow ended up winning. Lutz got second, and I got third.
You know what? I didn't even realize that, so I do apologize about that, because one of my questions is like, well, we'll get into that later, but yeah, and that track was super blown out and rough, completely different.
Yeah, I mean, I saw your questions you sent over. Obviously, we can get into that a little further, but yeah, that track was really blown out and rough. I was able to finish third there. And then 2018 was in Florida, and I had a couple minute stint catching Ty for the win. I ended up just finishing my second behind him for the overall win. So I finished second there, and then
you know what?
Obviously this year I finished first.
So yeah, you are having great results at the Nationals, pretty much. And you know what? I didn't even realize that till you told me.
Yeah, it's not something that people look at, but I mean, just as the last 4-year streak, I mean, I haven't missed a podium since. So I think it's first, third, second, first. Those are my 4 finishes the last 4 years.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Which place was hotter, Florida or Texas?
Temperature wise?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be Texas.
Really? Was it humid in Texas like it was in Florida?
Yeah, it's worse in Texas.
What?
I think.
Man, Florida was horrible. Man, we had those lakes right next to us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Florida could have been worse because they did have the flies. There were some flies in the pits. That sucked.
They had flies in the pits at Thornhill?
No, there wasn't any flies at Thornhill, but just the heat was horrible, and just the humidity. It was just miserable, really. But I mean, that's how it was when we were there in 2016. So
at least you was under a roof.
Putting in AC tents,
and the track was under a roof, so that makes it a little easier. When you got on that hot Florida sun, man, it was horrible. All right,
yeah.
Well, we kind of covered the Nats, so we might not even talk about that later on, but that's cool. But I just want to introduce. I know a lot of people know who you are, obviously, but I always introduce people on the podcast. You're 20 years old. You're soon to be 21, I guess. You are from what part of Surprise, Arizona?
Yep, Surprise.
And you've been racing for how long now?
I mean, I've been racing since I was probably 12, but I picked up my first RC car when I was 9.
Okay.
So a long time.
So let's talk about that. How did you get into RC?
Yeah, well, when I was 9 years old, one of my neighbors had an RC car. He was driving up and down the street, and it was actually close to my birthday when I saw that, and I was like, "Ooh, Mom, Dad, I want to get one." So they said start looking at which one you maybe want. So I started getting them some options from the website, looking online, and they actually ended up getting me a Jado Traxxas 3.3 car for my 10th birthday. And that's kind of how it all started. I started going to a local track, with that car, and the local people were like, telling me that, this wasn't the right car for the track, and, you're still allowed to run on it. But a few months later, we got a different car that was more suitable to the track, and it was an 8-skill nitro car. So me and my dad went all out from then, and it's been kind of history ever since.
So you kind of cut your teeth on 8-scale nitro then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely that was my first. That Traxxas car I got for my 9th or 10th birthday was a gas powered car, and then we switched over to a MBX 5T.
Okay, so you had a Truggy. That was good stuff, man. Nitro is the glory, man. Nitro is the glory.
What was that?
Nitro is the glory. That's our motto here at the NNRC podcast.
Exactly.
So when did you? Okay, so you're racing the Truggy and stuff. When did you start taking this serious? Like, all right, getting a little bit more serious about racing.
Well, I took a year off for when I was like 11, and we got into electric because there was an electric truck that opened up, and got it back into it, and that's when I really started taking things more seriously. So when I was like a 12. And started club racing a lot more, and then I, met some people at the track that were been in the industry for a while. Jeff Helms helped me a lot with building a car, my first B4.1, and it's been a good run.
Yeah,
we're still going.
Yeah. So when was Well, here's a better question. When was your first big race where you kind of broke your breakout race? I want to say
it was got to be. The Cactus Classic in 2000. I mean to see the trophy. Hang over here. I don't remember the year. 2013.
Okay. So 5-6 years ago. What did you win?
It was the 13.5 class. 2-wheel buggy.
Okay. So is this when you started getting noticed, like start getting your first sponsor and whatnot like that?
Yeah, that's when I picked up my tire sponsorship from Jason, Rona from Jconcepts, and I was already sponsored from a team associate, and then I think they bumped me up to like 75%, or maybe it was 50%. I really wasn't sponsored,
right?
Actually, when I won that race,
So there you go, people. See, he wasn't even sponsored when he won that race. He had to win that race and then get sponsored. That's how things work.
Yeah, thousands of dollars spent from my dad and for tires and all that stuff. That was an extensive race for my dad.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't cheap. We were using new tires every run, so.
Yeah. So you was what, like 14, 13 years old at that time?
Yep.
So was this like, all right, Dad, I think I can do this. Think I can make this a living.
I mean, I'm definitely a really competitive person. There's no doubt about that. So it was all about, I was like, if I get some more time and figure this out, I mean, I can beat these pro guys, without a doubt.
Who were some of your early influences? Like, who were some of I would say, your idols that you looked up to at that time?
Ryan Mayfield.
Yeah.
He was, him and Brian Kinwald, were the two.
I'll never forget. I think it was Come Drive With Us, the Hot Rod Hobby one, when it was available. He was talking smack to Cav. I think that's the one, or some interview I saw, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat you" and whatnot like that. So was Cav influential when you first met him and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, I mean when Mayfield ended up leaving, a team associated, Cav was, the guy that was there, left from the factory guys, and I learned a lot from Cav. I still am learning from him, even though we're not on the same team anymore. He taught me a lot, just, mental toughness. I mean, not that he was teaching me, it's more of things I was picking up being around him.
Watching and learning, dude.
Watching and learning. So, I mean, I know those people, when you get to that level, you don't want to share too much information. You don't want to have the young gun come kick your butt because you're giving them all the tricks and stuff that you've learned over the years. That's just the way it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've can't tell you how many questions I've always asked people, just set up stuff or just driving advice, things I can do better. I mean, that's one of probably the biggest things, the good traits that I have for me on just, I'm okay of taking advice, and it doesn't have to be my way. If another way is better, I'll do whatever it is, you know.
Okay.
You tell me how high to jump, and I'll jump that high.
All right. So you're 14, 15. How much time was you spending at the track around this time after Cactus Classic?
Oh, I was going on the track every day after school.
Yeah. Every
day.
How was that? Like, because you see, you know what I see in RC, like, now is like a lot of parents taking their kids out of school, putting them in homeschool, and just like they got these big dreams of them being pro RC guys, but you were still in high school and race and doing this, right?
Well, when I was in high school, I was still racing. I was actually starting to get paid when I was a freshman.
Really? So you was a pro.
And I had certain races I had to go to, and I was missing roughly 34 to 43 days of school, which wasn't an issue until at my junior year of high school is when I actually started my online school my junior and senior year. So I finished up online school. I actually my sophomore year, or sorry, the start of my junior year, I was going to the Worlds in Japan.
The one that you won.
And I told the one I won, and I told the principal, because we were pretty close on, you know, telling them on where I was going and why I was leaving for school. And there's a law that you can't miss more than 10 consecutive days, or they discharge you from the school. It sees that you're no longer active in school. So before missing those 34 to 43 days of school, you know, there was only like 3 or 4 days at a time.
Right.
So we actually I had to discharge myself out of school. Me and my dad, obviously. It was a collective choice. And yeah, that's pretty much what we did. We went to the Worlds in Japan, and I ended up winning and finished up my sophomore year of high school online, and then finished up everything from high school, junior and my senior year.
Online?
Online.
Okay. So you kind of had to get out of school, though, because like you was getting paid, your career was booming. It's a different story. You know, I understand that. Did you feel you missed out on anything not going to high school for those few years? Like, missed out on a big part of life?
Yeah, I had a lot of friends that I grew up going to elementary school with that went to the same high school. I mean, I missed birthday parties. You know, I really wasn't much of going to, like, high school parties in general. It wasn't, like, my forte. I'm not a drinker, don't smoke. But just family stuff. You know, at home, whether it's, you know, my mama's birthday or Christmas or whatever it may have been, you know, I was always gone practicing at tracks, or, you know, my buddies wanted to go get lunch. Sorry, I can't. I'm at the track.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that that I missed, and I really don't regret.
Right.
Because it's truly what I love to do, and you know, This racing RC cars is my life, and I've dedicated my whole life, and you know, that's what it takes.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's kind of like when you have young, like, child actors or singers, like, you know, they kind of don't really live that normal. It's similar to these young guys coming up in RC, I would say. Like, their life is kind of at the track, it seems like. So, but I mean, you turned out pretty good. What did your friends think of it, like, as a RC? Like, what did your friends think of you, like, non-RC friends? Like, I'm getting paid to race RC cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, they really didn't. When I did see them, or they came over and saw my hobby room that I'm in now, they were like, "Wow, this is pretty crazy." Like, I didn't realize this is, you know, they knew what I did. A couple of them came to the track to see what it is. They're just kind of not really in belief of, like, this is like a career, nor a
I get it. I think that is the biggest problem with our industry, really. People just don't believe it, you know. So we have to make people believe. That's what I believe. We have to show people how cool it is, and that it takes skill and takes talent and takes dedication and sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean one of the biggest reasons why, I mean, also I've kind of left out When I was growing up and getting into RC, this is back to my story I told you earlier. I mean, my parents were actually going through a divorce.
Okay.
And I was going through a rough time of just not really understanding what was going on. Like, wow, my mom's going to be leaving, or, I'm going to have, see him at different times. And going to the track was my happy place. And, it made me shut down everything I was thinking about in the real world and just focus on having fun.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's exactly what it is. So it's a hobby that I love and enjoy. And it's a place where I can go to and shut down my brain and talk to my friends at the track. I mean, everybody at the track's like family to me, no matter where I go. So it's a family that I've never had growing up. So it's definitely something special that I still cherish a lot when I go.
Yeah, and that's good because divorces are hard. I've been through one when I was younger, back when they weren't really common. I'm a lot older than you, and I went through the same things, man. But it was no RC anything like that. So you could have easily went a different way, like a lot of kids do. So good stuff.
I could have easily been a depressed high school child, doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing, and not have a job. But I've had a lot of people too that I've going to the track that have put me in the right direction, and without those people, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. And it goes out to a lot of those people that I named earlier: Jeff Helms, Ryan, Brian Kinwald, Jason Rona, and Brent Felke. So I mean, it's been a true dream. I mean, I remember ever since my 12th birthday, I've always dreamed of becoming a professional RC car driver. That was my birthday wish. Every single birthday, going up. So that was every time I blew those candles out, that was what I dreamed of.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with how grades work in American schools because I never attended. So you was 12 when you was making that wish. Well, how old was you when you actually became a fully paid pro driver?
I was probably technically 15.
Because that's when you won the world.
Yeah,
right?
I was 15 and a half when I won the world. I think I started getting my first paychecks when I was 15.
Okay. Now you graduate. Obviously, did you graduate earlier because you was doing online classes?
Yeah, I did graduate. I ended up graduating earlier than my class. When I was going to the actual high school.
Okay. So when was the age when you fully was like, all right, school's done. This is my job now. 24/7. Yeah, I am Spencer Rivkin, RC driver.
I was like 17 or 18.
But you was already doing it before that. But when you was officially out of school and doing it, that's when you became.
I think I was 17 and a half, 18 is when it was done.
Okay. All right. So was you like overwhelmed when you was getting paid to do this? Was you like, oh, I'm making money now? Was you spending it? Did you go out and splurge and buy yourself a new vehicle or anything like that?
No, I actually I'm cheap. I don't really buy really much. I like buying good food, but that's pretty much about it. I mean, my dad actually got me a nice truck, or helped me buy a truck when I was 16 or 15 and a half, 16. And I still have it to this day. So, I mean, I've just been saving up. Like I said, I want to buy a nice house.
Smart man.
Yeah, I've just been doing a lot of that stuff, and now we're here.
Well, I mean, you get, like, a wise man told me, get a job you love, and you never have to work another day in your life. So you get to do something you love. You get to travel around the world, racing RC cars, seeing different parts of the world, and you get paid to do it, and everything is comped for you. So that's just in itself an experience right there,
Yeah, it's definitely been. I've been definitely blessed for sure, and I'm truly thankful for everything that I get to do in my career that we do, traveling the world and going to racetracks.
Was there anything different when you was making that transition from high school to full-time pro that you do now that made maybe was hard to adjust to?
Not really. I mean, I had a little bit more time on my hands, obviously. But as for transitioning into something different, I mean, I was doing the same thing. I wasn't doing anything different, which was, a good thing. That I didn't really change how I looked at it perspective wise. I mean, as I've gotten older, I've looked at how things are perspective wise in the industry itself as, showing value to the companies that we represent.
Yes.
And to the industry. But as for racing and putting in the work, prepping your cars, doing my own practicing and testing, it's been no different.
Sure. We'll touch on the value to the company a little bit later on in the podcast. But one of the things I want to touch on was, in your younger years, you had a reputation for being a rough driver. Did that affect you anyway? And how did you, I mean, I get it. Look, I think Robin's racing. You know what I mean? I think there's a racing incident and then there's taking somebody out, right? How did you get over that?
I think when I was younger, whether if it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it may have been, it was just more of you kind of, when you're younger, you think of things a little differently as a perspective, but you kind of want to put your name out there, whether you don't mean to take someone out or rubbing someone or whatever. You want to show that those guys are there, so you kind of have to get a little bit dirty. And if it happens to be an accident where it was your fault, then you kind of just have to take it and move on and learn from it. And that's kind of the respect that I've gotten from the Ryans and Tebow, and I mean I wanted to show them that I was there to play too. I mean, I want a piece of that pie when it came to holding that trophy.
Yeah, I always credit you for being, I tell young kids in the racing, I said, you know what? And don't get offended when I say this, Spencer Rivkin stopped being a fanboy and started being a champion. And when he started doing that, that's when, what I mean by that is you stopped being scared of these guys and started giving them the wheel and showing them, hey, I'm here too. I'm somebody to be feared as well. And I think that's part of it. I think one of the main two ones were the one with Lutz, I believe, and then with Tebow. That's the two ones that stick out in my mind. And I remember when it happened, and I was just like, hey, I don't blame him. I remember saying that to myself. I don't blame him. He's got to stamp his foot on. He's got to, if they won't respect him, he's got to make them respect him.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, you see people come up in the industry now, whether it's, the up-and-comers that you see, and you see how they're driving me or Ryan, and, you have to, if you don't like the way they're driving, you confront them and hey, look, you can't drive like that. And I've been confronted a few times, and but at least I got their attention, and that was essentially what I was going for. You want to get their attention, and if it was in a negative way, then so be it. Now they know.
Yeah. Also, I know one of the questions I have is about, I compare it, you came out of the shadows of Mayfield and Kev. It's like this. I love Star Wars. You was their Padawan. And then you came out and it's all right, I'm not a Padawan no more. I'm a master. Let's do this. I'm a Jedi Knight. Sorry. They might be masters, but I'm a Jedi Knight, and you got to respect me for that. And you came out of their shadows. You have to, if you would have stayed just cool and calm and collective, you would have always been, oh yeah, Spencer Rivkin, fast guy from Arizona. You had to just literally come out of their shadows. Guys that you looked up to, come out of their shadows to be their competitors and gain their respect. It's pretty cool, man, for a young guy to do that.
For sure. I mean, I have had a lot of good mentors, still do have a lot of good mentors. And I've been given a pretty remarkable opportunities from everyone. Probably something that you won't see that often anymore.
Right.
As far as just giving someone an opportunity or giving them advice or just showing them the time and giving them the opportunities. And, I took full advantage of everything I've gotten from people, taking their advice, learning, and applying it to my own racing craft. And there's a lot of things that I still want to improve in my racing craft, whether it be becoming, better mentor, more of an icon in the industry, increasing my social media, content and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of things that there's a lot of things to master. I really look up to people, pro athletes like Tom Brady, and, seeing what he's done throughout his whole career. And he's mastered everything that he's accomplished. And whether he put in the work or not, it's just something that I want to do. And I want to, there's still a lot of things that I want to accomplish and continue into the industry.
You seem to have the right mindset towards it, because it takes a serious mindset to do this type of stuff.
Oh yeah, you have no idea. Everything about RC is constant, is my whole life. I've given up everything to do what I do. Like I said, I missed family stuff at home for RC, friends' birthday parties that were good friends to me. It's seriously everything.
Yeah, I've been into this for 2 years now, working for Joseph, and it consumes and I am nowhere you guys are pro drivers, and I see the work that goes in, and I kind of see what goes on in the background. So, and me, I'm just some guy who tries to do a managing job and runs a podcast, and this consumes my life. So I can't imagine that. People don't understand the time that goes into doing this. I think you guys just throw a car down in the track and that's it. No, it's a lot more than that.
No.
A lot more than that. All right. How important has it been to have guys like Saxton and Jason Rona on your side, and I would say they're good mentors for you as well.
Yeah, it's not only Richard Saxon helped me with the 8 skill side of things. Obviously, Richard brings a lot of experience to the table from his own mistakes or knowledge that he's had in the past and success. It's way more than just Richard, Jason. There's also people like Brent Thelke,
yes,
my team manager, my boss from Associated, Bryant Kinwald, Ryan Mayfield, my dad. It's been a full-on group of people that have
helped you and guided you.
Yeah, molded me into something that, to be successful in the industry. And it's been remarkable. I sometimes sit back and think of just everything that's happened along the way, to see that domino effect and the chain reaction of just how things became something. And it's just crazy to think that without those people, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. I don't even know what I would be doing right now if I didn't know those kind of people.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, man. You're still very young. You've accomplished a lot, and you still have so much in front of you left. I think this podcast should be future of RC. Even though you've been in this for a long time, you're still young and got lots of racing left in you, man. Lots of time. Wow, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive, man. Like I said, it comes back to people just don't know what it takes to be at this level. And I like to say this too, is that RC isn't something that you can physically train for, if that makes sense. It's like you can't go up there and lift weights and be a faster driver.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Well, I've definitely done some pretty interesting topic. The topic that you're bringing up is actually something that training. Yes, you can't lift weights, but I've read books, articles about just the mental game, the mental toughness, and I've done my own wouldn't say study on the brain, but just seeing how you can master your mental toughness and keeping positive mindsets. I've read Tom Brady came out with a book about how he mentally prepares himself for things and stuff. So I've kind of been in that game of figuring out how to mentally be better.
Well, you're mentally training yourself. That's about all you. Besides actually practicing on the track, you have to, like you said, it's mental. I give it a great example. Who I think is who attacks this as a very professional, for professional form is David Ronnefalk. Talking to him, you know, the way he talks about it and the way he attacks it, and some of the people that he looks up to. Okay, it's like you like Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady is really good. Like he's one of the best quarterbacks ever. Like Ronnefalk likes Ibrahimovic. I can't say his name a lot. Like, you know, it's a Swedish guy. He's a really good soccer player. He plays for LA Galaxy, and this guy takes no shit. Like, he is tough as nails. He's badass. He's played soccer in all different leagues, and he's been good in every one of them. And that's like one of his heroes that he builds himself off. So you've taken Tom Brady, and you've applied what Tom Brady's mental. You know, I get it, dude. Like Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He's got what, 6 rings?
Yeah, 6.
So, you know, so get it, man. That's a good model to follow. Yeah, you can definitely do the mental side of things.
Yeah, I mean, one thing people don't realize is, you know, getting into the industry, sure, you want to have dreams of becoming something big, but I mean, it all started of just being a happy place to be, and it still is my happy place. So I mean, it's an industry that I love and enjoy, and will always love and enjoy, and you know, it's something that I want to see fathers and sons go to, or mom and sons, whatever it may be, to go there and have some fun. And you know, it's difficult to ask a 10-year-old boy if they're going to put their heart and soul into this to become something professional. It's no different than, you know, pro athletes wanting to train their sons to go become a pro basketball player. It's just not that easy.
No.
I mean, they have to the individual has to put in every single part of their life into it. And if they really want to do it, then it's not that big of a deal.
How was your dad when you was coming up, like doing this? What was his advice to you when he was young and you was like, Dad, I want to do this for a living? What was he saying to you?
Honestly, I don't really remember. I mean, he definitely wasn't pushing me like to do things a certain way, but he would always get upset that if, you know, when I would crash or if I was not doing that good, he would be like kind of yelling up on the gyro stand when I was younger. And then other people were telling him to, like, you know, go away, like go in the corner, you know, and be quiet.
You know what, man?
I mean, as a joke, but it's like, I mean, as far as being like him pushing me to become a pro driver, that's not at all. It was all my choice, and everything about it was my choice. I mean, he was just kind of like helping me financially buy the things I needed to have the best product, and he was doing that. He spent a lot of money. You know,
as a father now, and I have a 7-year-old son, and I see him do stuff that I know he can do better at, I'm not saying, like, we shouldn't shout and, like, I believe you have to let children make their own mistakes and learn from that as well. But it's so many times I just want to tell my son, like, what are you doing? You know, and I don't really, you know, I shout at him and he does something stupid, like, and he ain't supposed to do. But, like, if he's doing something, like, if he messes up or something like that, I was like, no, like, he's out there trying to learn how to skate the other day. Like, he was like, I want to learn how to skateboard. I was like, well, go out there. He fell down and he's like, oh, that hurt. I said, well, get back up and ride it again. Like, you ain't broke a bone. You know, that's kind of like how I am. But yeah, I think your dad probably had you know, that's probably what he was thinking, but not every person can, you know, RC it's racing, man. Racing brings out a lot of emotions, a lot of passion, and a lot of heat. So it's, you know. And he probably says, oh, you could do it this way, and you can't see it, but he can see it. And
no, he left everything on the table for me. He gave me every opportunity to get the best stuff, and it was all left on the table to me to take it to the next level. And sure, I took it above and beyond and took it probably way past than he ever imagined.
Yeah. Are you the youngest world champion ever? Yeah, you have to be.
Actually, no. Cavallari won his when he just turned 15.
Okay.
Like a couple months in when he turned 15. I was like 15 and a half. So okay. I was off by a few months.
Still
but that
impressive,
was one of the first things, because I asked when I came off that gyro stand after I won, I asked him, how old was he when he won his first Worlds? Because me and him were like two peas in a pod when it comes to being competitive more than the other, or beating each other. And he's like, yeah, don't worry, I got you beat. I won mine when I was exactly 15, not 15 and a half.
He's like, yeah, don't get
He's
excited.
like, he was like, back it down, buddy.
Yeah, I could see that, dude. Yeah, don't think you're special. I did it at 15. That's what he probably said. Well, in his mind, but that's all right. That's all right, man. Something I've noticed about you, man, and I really like this about you. You have been super active on social media. You're doing your Facebook Lives. I didn't watch it the other day. I briefly watched it. I watched how many views you're getting. And all I have to say is keep it up, because you're doing a good job of it. And it's needed in RC.
Yeah, definitely. I really appreciate that. It's definitely something that I've been communicating a lot with my sponsors, and wanting to do some more actually recorded videos. I've actually got an album going of some recorded videos I'm going to be doing. I have some special stuff coming here soon that I won't announce quite yet, but I'm excited. But yeah, definitely the social media game in this industry is something that I want to learn how to become more of an ambassador, icon, and just giving back to the people that want to see content and answer people's questions is something that, without the people that helped me get to where I am, I wouldn't be where I am today. So if I can just give back just something to the people that do race and watch me on social media, it means a lot to me. And knowing when I get messages, I can't tell you. I think I may be averaging maybe 80 to 100 people following as I'm live. It's not that bad, but it's definitely been growing. But I can't tell you how many messages on the back end when it's been posted for a few days of how many people say, "Oh my gosh, I appreciate the video. I just watched it, and it was awesome info." And then they ask another question on the social media stuff, and seeing that message really brings a smile to my face, knowing that I was able to help someone out, and people are enjoying it. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah, I implore you to do that. It builds your brand. Yes, you are a world champion and a 2-time national champion, but that's your communication with people, and that's going to build you up. So when people see you at the track, like, okay, we can come up and talk to him, and he can give us some answers. Social media is so important. I really wish more drivers, more people in RC would take advantage of it. It would just help us grow our industry so much more. And I agree with you, man. When somebody sends me a message, I don't get 80 plus messages like you, but I do get a few. And they're like, hey, I really like the podcast. I like that. And I was like, hey, thank you. I do it all. I do it because I just like to talk about RC and, try to bring new content to people. So keep it up, man. You're doing a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I thank you for everything that you've been doing with your podcast stuff. I listen to it. It's cool to listen to when I'm on the plane, or if I'm in my hobby room, I put it on my speaker. And it's truly everything. And not only am I learning or growing my image, I'm also learning a different aspect of life of just diversifying myself, of doing different tasks along with doing my quote unquote job that I love to do. And maybe something down the road, I'll learn some things to do other tasks in the future. So
well, you're doing a great job. You have great mentors. Just look like what Jason Rona and Thomas do when they go to races, and Jconcepts has they really do a really great job of using social media for their benefit. It's times I just end up watching what Thomas has put in when he's at a race, and I just watch that and talk to him. So yeah, man, keep it up, dude. Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you. That's the plan.
All right. Now, you did make some changes in your program last year. You switched over to Futaba radios and different servers, different ESCs and stuff like that. And it seems like you did struggle just a bit. Was that just getting used to what you had, the new stuff that you had, new radio and all that stuff?
I wouldn't say I struggled.
Not struggle, but maybe. All right, this is the word I'm looking for. I shouldn't say struggle.
My first race of the year was at the Reedy race, and I got third. That was I tied my best finish there at the Reedy race. I mean, definitely. I mean, I didn't get my first win until I think the Desert Classic, which, I mean, there was obviously a few other events that I attended that I came close to. But, I mean, there were some learning things. The learning curves with the speed control and motor from Hobbywing.
Mm-hmm.
The Fataba stuff has been a tremendous switch. I'm so pleased with my new sponsors, with Fataba, Hobbywing, Sawbox Service, ProTech, A-Main Hobbies. I mean, like I said earlier in the video, I mean, there's definitely, more than just figuring out where you get the biggest paycheck.
Of course.
It's more about the product, and like the radio switch, Fataba came to me, and, I've been talking to Bobby Smith and Nick Maxwell with Fataba, and, the new Samuel radio came out. I heard that they were having problems with it. I'm like, sure, I'll try the Fataba radio out. And sure enough, it was like significantly easier to use than my Samuel equipment, and I really liked how it felt.
Mm-hmm.
And performance-wise, I really liked it when I was doing all the testing. So, I mean, I did all the testing with the Hobbywing stuff. The servos, like I said, I tested it all before I switched, and it was just a better package for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been very pleased with everything ever since.
I shouldn't have said you struggled, but was there some? I guess the better term would be: was there a time of adjustment that you had to get used to, getting used to that?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of settings that when I was running in the beginning of the year that I'm not running now, as far as speed control settings that I've learned on. So sure, I mean, there's just a lot of things that when you get new equipment, things work differently. I had a great foundation with when I was running for Reedy and Sandwall, and I had to restructure everything and learn all the new features that my new sponsors had with their equipment, and I pretty much got that stuff down a few months after the year, and just been kind of doing the best I can.
Yeah, that's all good. I think you've gotten used to it now, most definitely, because you're doing well. You're doing well. All right, I have one more question with your career and whatnot. You're young, you travel. I know, like, you get a lot of questions on Facebook. We just talked about that, and I know it's hard. You're very active in social media, very much more active than a lot of racers. Do you find it hard to have a social life? Like, can you turn off being Spencer Rivkin, world champion RC racer, and just be Spencer?
Honestly, no. But there are times where I do go out with friends from RC, and then we kind of do it just so we can clear our minds and don't talk about RC.
Mm-hmm.
But, then I get, I look at my phone and check my Facebook or Instagram, and then someone asks me a question. So then I kind of sneak out and kind of answer them. So, I mean, it's off and on. I mean, there's definitely things that, you definitely want to, not overdo it and not get tired of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I have a good balance of trying to keep it right.
Yeah, but you're young. You gotta enjoy life too. You're gonna be 21 here soon. You gotta go out.
For sure.
You gotta enjoy life. I mean, look, like I said, I'm nowhere near your level, but there's times, man, I just feel like, man, I got like I say it like this. I'm working from the time I turn my phone on to the time I turn it off. Every day I turn it on. So it's got to have some times where, I need to practice this for myself. I got to have some time where I just like, okay, turn my phone off, spend time with my family. And, I'm really bad at that. So I could imagine that you just were like, all right, you got to take some time, turn your phone off. Don't talk about RC. I mean, yeah, I know you're going to go with RC friends. You're always going to talk about RC. But there's more to life than RC.
Yeah, you're right. For sure. I mean, this past 4th of July, I went to the lake. I haven't been in. Our Lake Pleasant is our local lake here in Arizona. And I went out with some buddies. I went on the boat and had some old memories because me and my family used to go there. And I was like, it's funny. I brought it up in my head. I'm like, wow, there are some cool things in life that don't involve RC. This is fun.
Yeah, we get so wrapped up in it, man. I mean, obviously that's your job, and by some way it's my job too. But you're much more involved. But we have to take time out for ourselves, and you're young, and you have to enjoy it. So you're just going to get burnt out, too. You got to take that time out, or you're going to get burnt out.
For sure.
So,
yep.
Good stuff, man. Just find that balance, and you'll be all right. You'll be all right. All right.
Absolutely.
We did touch on the Nationals at the beginning, but I just want to ask a few questions. How confident was you going into this Nationals?
I was really confident. I mean, it was just the fact that I was there before. I won. I was thinking to myself, I'm a way better racer than I was back then. Just from an experience standpoint, I knew that there was going to be one or two people that were going to stop me from winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that my equipment, from car to tires, servos, radio, was all a great package, and I was feeling really good.
Yeah,
I probably just like mentally wise, I was mentally just feeling like I was kind of I was there. I was in the moment of feeling great.
How about when Cav? Because I'm so old, I'm getting a bad head. When Cav took out for the first few minutes, was you like, all right, I can catch them? This is not gonna be a problem?
Honestly, yeah, I really thought that I was going to see him one way or another. I knew I had a little bit more speed than him, and my pit guy, Brent, was actually on the mic, and he was telling me some lap times and just saying that, telling me the pace I was on, and I didn't have to do nothing special to catch him, and we stuck to our game plan, and our, what we talked about going in, and then of course having the headset's been tremendous help with just figuring out just strategies throughout the race, and I was able to catch him. I mean, the start of the race wasn't very good. I definitely wasn't expecting that at all. Going back to 7th or 8th. And luckily, the first 5 minutes went through, and I was back in 3rd, only 4 or 5 seconds behind the leader. So,
oh man, that was a rough start. There was so many rough starts that weekend. Oof.
Yeah, that was kind of a struggle, but sometimes you have to deal with adversity and
get over it.
It's thinking in my mind, if you're able to come back from this, it just makes it look so much better.
Yep.
Because I was back in 8th.
Yeah, you did. You were, and. How was you? Was you nervous in this last few minutes? Like, was you like, man, I still don't have this. Anything can happen? Because there is nitro racing. It was an hour long.
I was full on, not thinking about that at all. My pit guy, like I said, Brent was on the mic. He's like, keep on chugging, keep on going. He was pushing me mentally, and keeping me on my A game. And I didn't let up 1 second in that race. Towards it, my last lap was one of the fastest laps towards the end. And I was just keep on chugging. I'm like, I can go for another hour. Like, let's do this.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. You just dominated, man. And once again, congratulations. Why do you think you have success at these type of tracks? High grip, fairly smooth. I mean, you were successful here in 2016. I want to go back, like, DNC was kind of a disappointment for you. You was watching the A main from the sides. So why do you think these type of tracks suit you? But then again, you did well at State Line in 2017, which was rough as the moon. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do know why. I mean, as I've been becoming a professional racer, all the tracks that I've raced on have always been higher grip, and just the way that the industry is nowadays. Although the tracks are high grip, so I've always adapted and learned from the way the industry is now versus the guys like Mayfield, Tebow, and Cav or Ty. They've raced long enough and they've seen those kind of style tracks. Right. So it's not really my fault that I wasn't able to ever race on that stuff and learn how to drive on it. It's just the way the cookie crumbles, really. I mean,
do you prefer high grip and smooth?
I don't care what I race on. Okay, to be honest.
So you're game for whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it as long as we get to race, there's a smile on my face.
That's good stuff, man. You gotta be versatile.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not. I can't really give an answer there on behalf of the track stuff. I mean, it's not my fault that the Nationals were at Thornhill again.
And it's nothing wrong with that. It's they actually did a really good. It got really more high traction than 2016 though.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
but I think one thing that we said was that it would be great with that much traction, and being that smooth, maybe some more jumps, make it a little bit more difficult, and I think that would have been great too. But hey, it is what it is, and
yeah,
at the end of the day, the cream rises to the crop. I have a question for you. Do you think if Mayfield would have made it, it would have been more of a challenge?
Yeah, he definitely would have given his run. I mean, I would have. I mean, that was the guy that I was going in knowing that he was going to be the one to stop me from winning. Which I mean, there was like I was counting on Ryan. Were the two guys that I was concerned about. I mean, not that I wasn't concerned about anybody else, but just knowing the tire stuff there, and we were all on point throughout the qualifying. So those were the fast guys throughout qualifying, and yeah, it was a bummer. I was in the semi before Ryan, and I was marshalling at the end of the straightaway. Me and Cavallari were, and when he flamed out, like my heart dropped. Like I was just like, oh my god, this is freaking crazy.
It's insane, isn't it? We need an LCQ, man. We need to have an LCQ. I'm sorry, not just for him, just for anybody. It makes exciting racing, and Hey, that's a whole nother. I can get on that soapbox. So, anyway. Congratulations once again, dude.
It sucks. I mean, I definitely wasn't cheering him not to be in there. I was just, I want the most competition as possible. I want the race to be as close as possible, because if you come out on top, it makes you feel like, man, you just took down, this guy, and you had to pass him and do this. Like, the more adversity, the better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I get it, man. Well, you did beat him there in 2016. That was a hard-fought battle. So, yeah, this would have been good because you two were the fastest guys all week. And Lutz. Lutz was really good, too. But, that's how racing goes. It's called racing, not called winning. So,
yep.
All right, let's talk about the future, because one of the you have the 10-scale nationals coming up. But one of the most talked about things, and you went to the warm-up, the 10th scale world, your thoughts on this race coming up? I talked to Neil Craig about it. He's kind of like meh about it. And what about you? You went over there. You went to the warm-up. What do you think? What's going to happen over there?
I think the event itself is going to be really awesome. I think they're going to put on a great event for people. The track is not really that awesome to drive on. We went there. We got pretty much our butts kicked in from the X-ray guys. It's a little bit questionable if they're doing things the right way. Whether I don't really need to say much more, but
I know what you mean.
I hope they do things right, and whoever wins deserves to win there. And it's going to be a good event. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. I'm looking forward to going back there because we did learn a lot. I'm actually very surprised that the X-ray guys did race that race, because obviously they didn't need to show us the speed.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of a loss on their side. I think we go in with the open mindset. We go in knowing what we have, and come in better than ever.
Well, like I just said, man, the cream always rises to the top. So the fast will be faster, no matter what. No matter what goes on, Yeah. Do I feel that it's going to be some unfair advantage here? Of course I do. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you. I know what's going on. I'm not stupid. I have eyes. I have ears.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be interesting, and it's a shame because this is the one race every 2 years that we get everybody to race together, and I think it's really going to be a lot more European guys racing, Davide and all these guys. It's going to be even more interesting, so should be good. All right. Your thoughts on the industry at the moment, and what changes would you like to see happen over the next few years?
I think the industry as a whole for RC, meaning racing, on-road, crawling, monster trucks, is actually doing pretty well. Seeing the entries at these monster truck events, the crawling events, I think it's going pretty well. I mean, obviously, there's some things that we can do better at. I think there's some things that the racers can do better at, just promoting the races, and then hobby shops kind of promoting their hobby shops a little bit better. But I think it's going all right. I mean, I really have no complaints on it. We have a lot of racers here in Arizona, so our local track's doing pretty well. So,
do you go down to Tony Schumacher's track a lot in practice?
Yeah, when we're running nitro, like the nitro season, we're definitely there a bunch. It's awesome going over to Tony's place.
I think his track's so badass. I'm like, man, can you please get me some drone footage of your track? Yeah. Still waiting for that. I want to put it on the Facebook page. And well, then Associated, like I said this, Associated is winning RC right now because they just launched Element. Their truck is like their new scale, because I'm like a scale trail freak right now. It's because I don't race, so I got this is my little bit of RC, and that new truck is so badass. I like give full props, full kudos to Associated for what they done. And
yeah, no, for sure, it's been a long road of a venture for them. They've been working on that for a long time, and it's a really big thing for them. And I'm excited to be a part of Associated, just in the fact that knowing that your company is being diversifying, and knowing that they see some potential,
it's bigger than
in some areas that need to be fulfilled. And why not do it?
I'm pretty sure scale crawling is bigger than what we do off-road racing. I'm pretty sure it is. Has to be.
Yeah, it might be.
Because they get like great numbers. It's just because everybody can do it. It looks real, and it doesn't. It's no stress. And we need to figure out how to get more people in our industry too, on our side. So
yeah.
All right. What is the future looking like for you? What are some of your short-term and long-term goals?
Well, I mean, as being a racer, I've learned a lot of different tasks when doing product development, testing, talking to vendors, whether that's through Associated, Hobby Wing, or even working through Jconcepts. I mean, I've been learning a lot. Not just racing. I've been learning tasks with the social media stuff, and learning different roles, and using that experience for something later down the road if I see an opportunity. Yeah, it's there.
Because that leads into my next question. But go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, as of right now, I mean, I'm going to be racing as long as I can, as long as the industry allows it to. And hopefully the value that I bring to my sponsors is something that they're happy with, and maybe not have to worry about that. So
yeah.
I mean, I know like Adam Drake right now, he's running in his 40s. He's not winning races, but he's a great icon in the industry.
Yep. Still fast. He still makes mains.
He's still pretty fast. Still make mains, and he still gets paid.
And you know who else is good? Billy Easton, 43, still making mains. Still won't come on the podcast. I'm still trying to get him because he has so much to talk about. But Billy's a great example. Still good, still fast. Like I think he's faster than Drake. But Drake practices a lot, and he's they still get paid. But I think you have to also learn from those guys. You don't want to be still having to worry about racing when you're that age. You want to be able to. That brings me to my next subject, which is. You have a long career. You're 20 years old. You got at least 16, 17 more years of racing left in you, which is a long time. Do you have any interest inside of the industry or outside of the industry that you would like to pursue in the long run?
Yeah, I mean, if I were to get out of the industry, I would go to college and do biomedical engineering. and do go to school for that. I really have an interest.
What interests you about that? I didn't even know what that is.
So biomedical engineering is basically the prosthetic stuff for people, arms, legs, whether if it's dogs or humans, just making human parts out of robots essentially, or building robots essentially. All
right. So you mean like doing some like the guy from Avengers, Bucky, who has the robotic arm and all that type of stuff. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. That's an interesting thing. I've never even heard of anybody say they want to do that. So you are thinking. That's good. How about within the industry? What can you see yourself doing when you ain't racing? Like a Brent Thelke, maybe more?
Yeah, doing a Brent role, developing people, helping, product engineering, product development, R&D, stuff like that. But the main thing right now is just building my image, and hopefully I do it right, and I can still do what I do for a long time.
You got lots of life left in you, dude. Enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. You're already a world champion. You got probably a lot more left in you. You got lots of time to do it, so don't put too much pressure on yourself, and enjoy the journey, what you're doing, because you got to stop by and smell the roses sometime. And you go to these different countries, like, go see something different. Like, it's not always just a track and stuff.
For sure. That. Definitely.
You get to travel while you're young. I've been fortunate. I've been able to travel for RC. I've been able to travel for work. And it's nothing better than traveling around the world and getting paid to do it. So, not that I get paid much in RC, but, it's all good. All right, man. Any advice for young guys getting into this hobby, getting into this industry, or just that are in the industry? Anybody, younger guys, because you're a young guy, and I want you to tell them something.
Yeah, I think what if I had to give advice to the younger people, it's just all you got to do when you go to the track is just have a good time. If you're having a bad night of club racing, you just look at it like this. You weren't out there doing homework. You were there at the track with your mom or dad, and you're hanging out with your friends. I mean, you really can't get much better than that. Mm-hmm. And it's just enjoying your time at the track. And if you really want to become something special in the industry, you got to put in the time. I mean, It's just nothing to it. There's no shortcuts in life. And if there is, then there's going to be a shark there to bite you.
Yeah, there's always somebody to take your place, man. So you got to keep on top of your game. You got to keep pushing. You got to think of ways just like you're doing. And like I said, you are doing a great job of it, dude. Keep it up and keep pushing it. Keep learning, keep evolving. So. Yeah,
that's been the biggest thing. I've definitely been pushing myself a lot just to become a better person, a better individual with racing, and staying on top is the ultimate mindset.
All right. Well, if you listen to the podcast, we have this 10-question, 10-second segment. I don't send you these questions because I want your honest opinions right off the bat. So, are you ready for the 10-question, 10-second segment, Spence? Can I call you
Let's
Spence?
Do it.
Do you like to be called Spence or Spencer?
It doesn't matter. Spence is fun.
All right. Number 1. Who is your biggest rival?
Biggest rival. Let's say Ryan Mayfield.
Okay. If you didn't race RC cars, what would you be racing?
F1 cars.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good man. Number 3, he's your teammate. Davide Ongaro is?
Sorry?
Davide Ongaro is?
You want me to answer the question?
Yeah, what is he? Just give me your opinion of him.
Oh, he's a great driver.
Yeah. Have you tried his car? Have you ever driven his car? Have you ever driven with stick control, anything like that?
No, I haven't.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried his setup or anything like that?
There's some things that I've actually ran at the Nationals. Not his full setup. I don't really like exactly what he all has going on, but there are pieces of his puzzle that I've integrated into my setup that I've evolved over the last few months of developing. So,
all right, good stuff. The best race you have ever attended?
The best race I've ever attended.
It's number 4.
I think the best race I've ever attended had to have been the Worlds in Yatabe. Not just because I won, but just how structured it, scheduled it was, and how it was structured, with the timing system and the sheets that they had for when and where things were going to be. It was just really organized.
Okay, good stuff. Number 5, give me the names of the top 3 songs in your playlist right now.
Well, I have to check that. It's going to take more than 10 seconds.
That's all right.
I think Panini is one.
Give me your top 3 songs right now that you like. That's easier.
Let's see. T.I., Whatever You Like, and
Whatever You Like. Good song.
Let me see one more. Let's get that new song from the country music that he made.
Little Nas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, number 6. You already answered this, but who's the best quarterback of all time?
Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Not even close.
You know how I knew you was a Tom Brady fan? Is I saw that you signed a ring for Gotti.
Yeah.
And you read TB12, and it's like, oh, I have to keep this for myself. So, cool stuff.
Yep.
Cool stuff. Okay, my buddy. I love him to death. I like him, AJ, a lot. The Ginger Ninja himself, Jackson Brunson. He's done really well. Nah, dude, since he's been hanging out with you, he's been putting in work. He's gotten a lot faster.
No, he's been incredible. I mean, he reminds me a little bit of myself when it comes to just asking a bunch of questions, annoying the crap out of you.
He's a good guy,
just getting some information. No, he's been one of my good friends, one of my best friends. Him and Alex have been awesome, and seeing him evolve through his progressive racing career, he's come a long ways, and I'm sure he'll be right there with us, running at the top here pretty soon.
Yeah, I like that he's kind of taking a break. Well, we're going to run in 10 scale here with you shortly, but he took some time off from 10 scale to really focus on 8 scale. And I've been hanging out with him a few races. Him and AJ almost got me a ticket at AMS last year because they almost made me run a stoplight, and there was a cop there. But I really like him and AJ and all them young guys, Trent, all them guys from Florida, nice guys. The Ginger Ninja is a good guy, and he's putting in the work. So that's what matters, and it's showing.
Yeah, you can't take away anybody if they're going to put in the work. Regardless of their situation, then it's they have to put in time, and if you do it, then you deserve it.
Okay, I know this one's going to be difficult for you. Number 8, Cav or Mayfield, who's better?
I think Mayfield is better.
Okay,
And I can explain why.
go ahead.
But I'm not going to.
Okay. Too bad. You got to explain that stuff. All right. Number, you know what? I always mess up these things. But number 9, 10th scale or 8th scale? One of them you got to race forever.
10 scale.
Okay. And number 10, what is your most favorite country that you've visited so far?
Shanghai in China.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you, man, for participating in that. Thank you for your time here on the podcast. I appreciate it. We finally got it done. Congratulations once again on winning the 2019 Raw Nats. Good luck here in the 10 scale Nats. Good luck in the 10 scale Worlds. Would you like to say thank you? Would you like to offer some words of wisdom before we sign off here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I want to say thank you to you. I appreciate you having me on the podcast. Of course, I want to thank all my sponsors, Team Associated, Hobby Wing, Jconcepts, MX, ProTech, Salvox, Amen Hobbies, OCRC, Hobby Action, and so many people that have got me where I am today without taking advice from people and learning from people's mistakes. You really have a hard time moving on in the world, and just listen to your friends, listen to some mentors, and don't be afraid to take some advice. I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, you have to tell yourself that you don't know everything. As soon as you tell yourself that, it's a hard task. People think they know everything, but as soon as you realize that you don't, is when you really start moving forward.
Yeah,
So.
you're absolutely right. Never tell somebody you know already, because they might have something of value to give you.
Yeah, I learn something new every day.
Good stuff, man.
It's definitely just part of life, and you know, as you get older, you'll learn that. I was just, you know, very fortunate enough to take those advice when I was younger, so and just accelerated from there.
Cool, man. Well, like I said, I appreciate you coming on here. Please keep up the good work on social media. You're setting a great example for other racers that they should be following. And hey, man, you know what? Enjoy life. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the ride. And do something outside of RC to enjoy yourself. And good luck with buying the house, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Will do.
All right, dude. Well, talk to you later.
You are entering the Tekno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight. The part of the podcast that gives the listeners a platform to talk about RC. Brought to you by Tekno RC. Tekno RC. Tekno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.teknorc.com for a complete catalog of their products.
Welcome to the Tekno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight. This is the part of the podcast dedicated to all the guys out there that are working Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, 9 to 5 or 5 to 9, racing on the weekends, club racing throughout the week. You know, the guys that are the backbone of this great hobby, or scale motorsports as I like to call it. You know, the guys who are out there racing, buying tires, buying parts, doing all the good things, you know, going to these big races with, you know, staying in hotel rooms with 4 guys, 5 guys, which I do, which I've done. And yeah, this is your time to shine. This is your platform to talk and let us know how you feel about things. Tell us a little bit about your RC stuff or whatever you want to talk about. This is your time. So this week on the Tekno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight is a good friend of mine. I actually met him at PMB in 2018. He's named Colby Johnson, and we've become pretty cool friends because I've been to a couple of RaceTime's events, and he's into scale RC. So what's up, Colby? How are you?
What's up, man? Doing all right today. How you doing?
I'm cool. I'm chilling. Just, you know, doing my thing, recording. It's, you know, we're coming up. It's summertime. Lots of racing going on and lots of scale stuff going on. So you gotta tell us a little bit about yourself, because you actually work with Dave at RaceTime. You do a lot of the track work, laying down pipe, disassembling the track, all that type of stuff. Every time I see you at the races, you're busy, super busy. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about you, man.
So, yeah, obviously, I'm Colby Johnson. I started racing and rock crawling. Really, I started with rock crawling 2006.
Mm-hmm.
I was in middle school. So I was a little kid. My parents would take me to rock crawling events with some of the local guys, and I really got into it that way. When I was able to drive, I started racing at a place called Turtle Tracks with Gene Samuels. And that was just down the road from the house. So I started racing 10th scale short course with a Slash, and then went to a Blitz, to SC10, and then now doing this whole crazy 8th scale game. And like you said, working for Dave, RaceTime Entertainment, and I'm enjoying it big time with the Soar Speedball guys. So been having a lot of fun, especially the last year that I've been really growing as far as a racer, really more so of just I wouldn't say my speed is gained, but my confidence and my my knowledge of just racing and how things work has really increased. So that's really it. I've done a lot of crawling, a lot more crawling than racing. I'm a lot better at that. I've done that for so long. I've got so much more knowledge with that, but nothing beats getting up on the driver's stand and racing. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, it was so funny. At PMB, I got my brand new TF2 RTR, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna crawl this thing, just do a little, like, go around, have fun around the pits, and then I plugged it in wrong because it was those Venom connectors. I bought some battery packs from Ryan Caldwell, and I didn't, they have those universal connectors, and I must have had it hooked up wrong, and then I was just like, I burnt my Speedo. I just was so upset because that was going to be my little bit of entertainment. But you did offer to have a look at it, and I actually got it working. I put a new Speedo in it, and I'm actually got an interior for it and all that stuff that I'm going to put together, and got some different wheels. So I'm enjoying scale life.
We call that Barbie doll truck. When you start putting an interior and a driver in it. I mean, I've made these trucks that, they have the interiors in them, but I've went a step further and put a servo behind the steering wheel.
Oh, that's cool.
Put a servo under the seat, with a rod that runs up and turns the guy's head with the steering wheel. So,
no way, that's cool.
Barbie doll trucks, man.
I love that stuff, but I mean, I'm not going that deep, not yet. I just want to make it look real. Maybe I'll put a driver in it, but I'm not going to go through all that stuff.
See, it's really the big difference in scale crawling and racing. You don't really spend, racers don't see that as far as the scale side of rock crawling and stuff, at how much time you put into a rig. I mean, 70 to 80 hours just working on the interior. I mean, it's just, or a cage or something like that. You have way more time in that. I mean, you put 70 to 80 hours in a race vehicle, you've built 2 kits.
Yeah. So, it's more, to be honest, but I mean,
exactly.
I really am enjoying it. I just finished doing some stuff to my Traxxas. I got a Axial that a friend of mine sent me of a bunch of stuff. I showed you the picture the other day.
Yeah.
So I'm really thankful for that. I'm actually just put my radio gear in that, and I'm gonna set it up for my son because he can't drive he ain't gonna drive my Trail Finder. No, that's gonna be my baby. So.
Right.
I'm looking. I like that. Like a lot of people like, oh, racing. I love racing, but I don't get to race much. But scale is so cool, and it's one of the biggest genres and growing genres in RC.
It really is, and you don't need to drive forever. I mean, if you've got a creek in your backyard and you've got waterproof electronics, you can have fun all day. So, but like I said, nothing beats racing.
No, it doesn't.
Beats getting on the driver's stand. Nothing beats. A lot of people hate on nitro, but shoot, the last year I've gotten really big into nitro and love the smell, love the feeling, love the power and the sound. So
it's the glory, man. Nitro is the glory.
For sure.
I love it. Speaking of that, how did you get involved working with Dave and whatnot?
So, Dave and Jennifer Smith own Paranoia Haunted House here in actually Canton, where I'm from, and just went one day. Actually, that's when I met Dave, but I had raced P&B before when they did Stock Slash. But I went to Paranoia with a bunch of my friends, and I saw the Psycho Guy logo, and I was like, wait, what? So I walked up, and Jen's in makeup, and I noticed her from doing raffles at P&B, and I'm like, hey, I know you. I raced at P&B. She's like, hey, you need to come work at the Haunt, and that was it. So
so you worked there too?
I'm an actor at Paranoia, yes.
Yeah, so, because you do dress up in P&B, or one of the guys that dress up in the... actor, yeah.
I didn't get to this year just because I'm huge and Dave didn't bring anything for me to fit in. But my fiance definitely got to go around in a costume. But so my first job there actually was doing everybody's thing. When you think of haunted house, you're like, man, I want to be that guy with a chainsaw that has no chain on it and just chase people. Well, I did that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what's going to get me into it. That's what I want to do. So that's what I did. It was a blast. Working at the Haunt, it's a different scene. It's different kind of people. When you think of haunted house, you think people that are just crazy in the head, and they're really not. I mean, some of them are maybe, but it's a different group of people, and it's a lot of fun. And Dave and Jen just make it so much more. I mean, it's just out of this world. It's a different experience, and there's a lot of racers actually that have come down to work the Haunt, been through the Haunt. Jeff Keaton's been there.
Yeah,
I'm sure that
I saw some videos, some pictures from him doing that.
Yeah, Bobby Moore got tackled. I think it was Bobby Moore got tackled. He was in a ghillie suit, and a bunch of little girls tackled him and hurt him. Yeah, but it's fun. It's one of those things, man. It's another part of the hobby for me, at least. When I can actually do it at work, kind of this past year, keep me from going in there and doing it up. And my fiance got into it big time too. So we both kind of actually, when we first started dating, that's what we went and did was. Hung out at the haunted house with Dave and them. So, yeah.
All right, that's cool. So when did that start transferring into you actually working at the races?
So this was 2017. I was helping them with the Haunt, and Jen actually was like, man, you need to get back into racing. We need your help with the races. And I was like, well, what do you guys do? Like, I didn't even know that they actually went there and did all that. And she's like, come to this race in Gainesville. It was the Wicked Weekend. I said, well, I don't even have a buggy. She's like, you can just borrow mine. So she had like a Mugen MBX7. I took it home, ran it up and down the driveway. I went to Loganville, my local track, ran it one time. And then I was like, you know what? I'm seeing all these Tekno buggies. I'm going to grab a Tekno. So I grabbed a Tekno, built that thing. The week before, actually, I went and did the build on Saturday. We built driver stand at Wicked. My kit arrived Monday. I built it and then raced it. I did the 3-4 day practice. So I practiced with it Thursday night and stayed all weekend in a regular old pit trailer that was just for dirt bikes. And I had made a stupid window AEC unit workout in it and had a cot and raced all weekend and had a blast. So I couldn't get off work because I didn't really plan on going, to do teardown. But the next one was SIC 2018, and since then I've gone to all of them. Mm-hmm. And just Dave and Jen, man, they make it doesn't feel like work. I mean, yeah, we're sweating and busting ass, but it's a lot of fun. They're really cool. Now we got Sean Harding, Brad Collins helping us out, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a big party. We're just blasting Motley Crue and Pantera, whatever else comes out, Slipknot. You know how it is at PMB. It's all crazy. Well, we're that way the whole time, no matter what race we're at. So just did AMS, and the build was crazy. I mean, it's really hot, so got to kind of relax a little bit on that one. But Wicked Weekend will be balls to the wall as usual, and that's kind of how it goes. I mean, doesn't feel like work. We're so excited to get people there, to have racers come in and see what we've built. We know everybody's going to have fun, but it's just the unknown when you're building how it's going to come out.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be at Wicked Weekend this year. I'm not confirmed that I'm coming. It's a little bit difficult right now for me, leaving my family and stuff like that. My wife was, I kind of exhausted most of my away time, early on this year. And it's really difficult for my wife. She's got the kids and whatnot. So we'll see. I'm hoping to be there because this is one of the races that I definitely have planned to go to. It looks very comfortable, very laid back. And
see, the thing with Wicked Weekend is what most people don't realize is it's another PNB. I mean, it's like, it's crazy. It's got the 3-4 day event. So yeah, it's, you do the practice Thursday or Friday, and it's a lot more laid back than PNB. You don't have the 24 hours or, running late into the night, but it's just got the same feel. It's got the same atmosphere. You walk up to the track and the hair on the back of your neck stands up and you're just like, all right, man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. Mm-hmm. So it pulls the same feeling PNB does. SIC and AMS just feel like a big indoor race, like you're all serious, but PNB and Wicked Weekend are a party. I mean, you go out there, when you come to Wicked Weekend, everybody's out in the parking lots because we don't have a lot of huge pit space. So out in the parking lot, man, everybody's got their campers. They're all grilling. Everybody's cooking out. It's just a party. It really is. There's a ton of lights, a lot of people, a lot of music, a lot of different kinds of people, and you can just go and hang out with everybody. It's so easy just to walk through the pits there and meet new people and hang out. So it makes me feel like I'm at PNB just with a little different style, with having the open arena.
Yeah. So it doesn't really get smoky and dusty. I watched last year's one race. I like the track a lot better too, to be honest.
So the thing about Wicked is around 9 to 10 a.m., the sun peeks through. And so when you're running nitro, the smoke actually just rises up to the top of the arena. So it creates a whole different track almost because you're having to like focus around all of that, the sun in your eyes, and then you've got, the smoke making it real foggy just in those areas. So it's really different. But the breeze is always nice. The weather's always really good. Last year we had a little bit of rain, but it's just fun, man. Wicked Weekend is the one that I look forward to, obviously because it's so close. But,
yeah, you live close by, so it's good for you.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't have to, PNB is about 4 hours from me. SIC is about the same. So it's you don't really have to plan all the crazy stuff like hotel and where you're going to stay, and you just kind of make it happen and hang out. So, Yeah, a lot of fun at Wicked there, definitely.
Yeah, every time I see you, man, you look like you're having fun. I've seen you pissed off too. I know, so I get it, man. But I've seen you. You're always having fun. You're always smiling.
Look, man, the biggest thing for me with racing, especially having me on the grassroots thing, I have a lot of help, a lot of support between family, my fiance, and SOAR, Cal RC. Those, Proline. They help me out so much, and they know that I'm not anything good. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not anything good, but I'm not pro. I'm not out there to be 100% serious. I love going to these events because they're fun. They remind me of when I rode dirt bikes. So, it's one of those things. I just like going and having fun. I don't care if I'm breaking stuff. PNB was rough. I was always working on my car, and I really saw what it meant to really have that thing dialed, like on the workbench before I got to the race. That was the biggest thing for me. And that's what I keep having to go through with myself is, did I tighten that? Did I Loctite that? Like, I'm going to be out on the track and my body's going to fly off or something like that. Something stupid, and that's just what I've been fighting. And I know I'm going to get better at it. And those that support me will see it, and they do see it. So
yeah,
it's one of those things, man. Definitely not a pro racer at all, but
not everybody's going to be a pro, man. It's called racing. It's not called winning, and we have to have fun doing this first.
Oh yeah, shoot. And I think the day that it stops being fun is the day that I'll quit. So
yeah,
that doesn't look like it's ever going to happen.
All right, what do you like so much about RC? What's the biggest thing that you enjoy about it?
Man, I'll backtrack for a second. I'm a diesel mechanic, or I work on semi-trailers. I'm a mobile tech. I just love wrenching. And that's really what got me with rock crawling, was just constantly building stuff. Like, I'll sit there and build a car and not even drive it for a week because I just had so much fun building it. So wrenching is my favorite, but with racing, it's just the competitiveness. Everybody's so competitive, but then again, all the people are just so amazing. Like you guys, JQ Racing, you guys, everybody on your team is just so much fun to hang out with. Jeff Keaton, I'll probably throw him down at the bottom of that bus, but so it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things, man. Everybody's so cool at these races. Even if somebody's not cool, they chill out and they're like, look, man, I'm sorry. It's always good sportsmanship, especially at the RaceTime events. I haven't really gone out to, I've been seeing a bunch of posts because I'm friends with a lot of people on Facebook about Roar Nats, and, our guys, Jeremy and Cole Caston were there. They didn't have too much good luck, and kind of seen both sides of that. And that's the kind of stuff that I feel like I wouldn't have fun doing, having to deal with that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely people, man. The people in this hobby just make it. If it wasn't for that, I think I'd be doing something else. I'd probably be out fishing or something.
Yeah, I always enjoy myself when I come to East Coast races, man. The people are very nice. I enjoy Dave's races and all the people that I meet, and I think Dave does a great job. I like that I feel that Dave actually puts a lot of heart into his races, and I like that about him.
Man, that is the most dedicated and hardworking guy that I've ever met. I've never seen somebody just bust ass so much like he does and just keep going. I mean, he doesn't stop. If you go out, at PNB, if it's 3 a.m. and we're running the last few qualifiers, Dave's sitting up there. He's not out and he's not asleep. He's not just letting money roll into his pockets. The dude's up there making sure it's running smooth. So, or at 7 a.m., he's in there drinking coffee. Even if he was just up at 4 a.m., having to deal with whatever. So at 7 a.m., he's drinking coffee, watching Jimmy call the first couple of races in the morning. So
yeah, he's always been nice to me. He always smiles, and I like Dave a lot. And like I said, I just enjoy coming to East Coast races, and I've been to a few races down south. Very nice. I'm enjoyed it a lot.
Oh yeah, my plan is to get out there. I mean, I want to go out west, and I want to try all that stuff out. Like I said, I think whenever I build a lot more speed, a lot more confidence, I'll probably make the trek out that way. But right now, it's all about the RaceTime events for me.
Yeah, and it's close to home for you.
People are at, so.
It's close to home for you. I mean, that's why I focus most on the East Coast, because it's an easy flight from here in the DR to Miami or wherever, and then we're there. So, but you guys are definitely fortunate, man. Definitely fortunate to have great races to go to, and there's lots of tracks to go to there in the East, Southeast, and whatnot. So, I say that as
for
well.
sure. I mean, Georgia's kind of we're getting there a little bit. Loganville, Mark Moon and Brian Burnett, they've been doing an amazing job with our local track, Loganville. it's come a long way. Loganville's been around forever. And then Savannah, Patrick Rossiter, man, those guys down there are just killing it. That track always looks amazing.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to SMB. Most people call it Shake and Bake up in Piedmont, South Carolina.
It's great. Great track.
Yeah.
The SOS
dude,
race.
It looks amazing. I've never actually been. It's so close to home. It's 3 hours, I think, from me, 2.5. Last race I went to was Easley. That was the other round of the Southern Off-Road Series, and it's just everybody. Like I said, everybody in the Southeast is really cool. Those races are just fun. Yeah. I mean, even if you don't do good, you're there hanging out with people, and it's just a blast. So it's what I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm gonna burn some nitro, hopefully.
Yeah, man. So what's something that you don't like about RC you'd like to see change?
That's really hard. I think the big talk lately has been all the tire companies. You know, you got pretty much everybody's getting sponsored, and I could throw myself in that category. I've obviously been lucky enough to be with Proline this past year, running Proline tires, but yeah, when you sponsor everybody, what's going to happen to, like, say, Ryan Hatton, Roman Evans, those guys that come to our events that are there selling tires? They're not going to sell any, because you walk in, you're like, oh man, I could buy that cheaper, or I can get this cheaper, and then they lose out on business because of that. So, and I see it directly affect Roman Evans. He's one of my really good friends. I race with him all the time, and I see it directly affect him. And that's the one thing that I think if I could change it, even though it would affect myself directly, I would definitely change that. I mean, I would rather buy from him, but I love Proline. I love the tires, and, I can't change that. So that would probably be it for sure.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Tires, I could go on about that, but, that's 75% of your setup. If you ain't on the right tires, you're never going to get it. I'm a big fan of spec tires. I'm not going to go on that soapbox and talk about that and all that, but I understand, man.
Yeah, and I've tried that. I've tried when we first started racing Stock Slash, it was Stock Slash. You pulled it out of the box and raced it. Everybody was on the same tire. It was really hard to pick somebody faster because it was all about luck, when you're running like hard plastic tires on a clay track that didn't really have any character. So it was fun to see that everybody improved as a driver. Yeah. And that's what I like. I want to improve as a driver, not as somebody that can throw some tires on and win over somebody else who just didn't have the same tire. So I think I would enjoy spec racing, but I know there's a lot of people out there that would just totally burn that idea really quick.
Yeah, that's true. All right, man. Well, like I said, man, you're a great dude. I enjoy when we meet and we set up. What rigs do you have right now, scale-wise?
Scale-wise, okay, so I've got the my Corrupt Carbon Works. This is a Class 2 Sorca truck, running some custom 3D printed carbon fiber axles, Draft Tech.
So what does that mean?
Shocks.
I'm not familiar with that stuff.
Yeah, so it's all about lightweight. I mean, these crawlers, Class 2 Sorca is right. Is it's a comp class. You're all about performance, but you have to have 50 scale points on the truck to have it deducted from your score at the end of the run. So there's different groups that do it differently. Some will subtract your scale point score from your current run, or they will subtract it from your overall at the end of the day. So that's the way this truck is set up. It's got 50 scale points. I've got a cage in the back, a full interior, chassis mounted servo, stuff like that. It's got brake drums on it. I mean, it looks like a brake disc.
Okay, I get you.
It's just to get the scale points. It's got a working winch, lights. I mean, everything to get the points. And then we run 10 gates in 5 minutes, and then we run 4 courses and then do a final afterwards. So this past event I went to, East Coast Championships, that I actually helped host, had about 60 overall entries. I got second in Class 3 with a Class 2 truck. Now, Class 3, you can have rear steer, you can have bigger tires, stuff like that. A little bit crazier body modifications, but I didn't have rear steer, and I just walked the dog and got it. So I got lucky, but it's one of those things. I've also got working on a Class 1 truck. It's more of a street rig that you would see, especially where I'm from, a Toyota or a Jeep that's just chilling on 35s, got a little bit of a lift, cut fender, stuff like that, but it's still streetable. So that's what I'm working on now. I don't know if I'll ever finish it, but we're working on The Tennessee guys are working on a scale championship event in October, and up in their neck of the woods. So I definitely want to attend that. But that's really all I have. I'm working on a buggy, just a cool little scale buggy that I've just been tinkering with. But other than that, that's all my crawlers for now.
Okay.
Had to get rid of a bunch of them to support racing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 now, and they definitely cost money because you definitely want to go out and get a little thing here, and that's, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get into this. I'm not going to spend a lot of money. And here I am like, oh, I need this wheel. I like this wheel. But I mean, you can make it just like racing. It can be as cheap as you want it to be and as expensive as you want it to be.
That's what I was going to say. Rock crawling really is the initial cost. Once you build a truck, you get a few batteries. You really don't have to change anything unless you want to. It's not like racing where, oh man, X-Ray or JQ's coming out with a new kit. I got to get it. I mean, it's going to be way better than my old one. I got to get it. It's like, and then you're stuck trying to sell your old car. You're never going to get what you paid for it. So you're still going to you're throwing at least, you're not going to make that extra $150 back. So there's that right out the door just immediately. So you can go buy the new kit for whatever, $300, $400.
Yeah,
so
but people, I get that. These things last a long time.
Yeah, and rock crawling, you don't really have that. I mean, yeah, they'll come out with a new rig. Actually, will come out with a new rig, but to make your rig the same rig, you just got to change the body and get new shocks. It doesn't put you out another $400.
Yeah, I'm not going that deep, dude. I just want to go out there and have fun
and see. When I started, we didn't have. I know this sounds stupid. I'm only 25. I'm turning 26 in November. When I started rock crawling, there was no axial. It had just started. So I was building my truck out of a Tamiya TLT1 Rockbuster kit. It was like a monster truck. And we took the axles out from under it and welded a cage. Took a transmission from a Traxxas Stampede. JB welded it and the axles locked. Threw on some low-C comp crawler, or at the time, I think it was rear low-C MST shocks. I think it was something like that. Putting those on there, Traxxas big bores from the E-Max or the Revo, and just making it work. And Novak Super Rooster ESC, Intage 35-turn motor, and we were competing with it. And I went to Oklahoma, Indiana. I mean, I went really far away from where I live to go and play with some trucks that I built in my garage. And now there are several companies making some amazing trucks that we used to just build in the garage out of whatever we could find. And that's the beauty of rock crawling. I don't think racing quite went that way, but that's why I stay in rock crawling, because I'm like, I feel like an OG.
Yeah.
So
people cry if you have to Dremel something on RC car, race cars. So.
Yeah, if you can't bolt it on, they don't want it. I mean, it's just how it is. So I
cool,
definitely
man.
like that aspect. So.
All right, man. Well, before we close this down, would you like to say thank you or shout out to anybody?
Oh man, I wouldn't know where to start. Well, definitely my sponsors that help me out. I've, like I said, I do my best to just be the best person I can be at the track. When I go race, I help everybody. I don't care if you're sore.
You do help everybody, dude. I always see you. You're always moving, busy. So
Cal RC, man, I can't say enough about those guys. They're cleaning products. Everything that I use that helps me organize my stuff. That was the biggest thing for a long time. I was working on a bench that had nuts and bolts just piled up everywhere. I don't do that anymore. My stuff looks clean. Like I said, Proline, man, they've helped me out big time with rock crawling. I go through tires on a rock crawler just because I know when they're wearing out. I know when they're losing traction. And Proline definitely helps me out. And then everybody else, RaceTime Entertainment, Dave Leikum, Jen, they've been like my family for the past couple of years, and I wouldn't change any of that for the world. They help me out so much with not just RC cars. They help me out with life. If I need help with something, or need somebody to talk to, especially Jen. Jen is like the biggest pep talker ever. So you can definitely, I always count on her to make me feel better about anything, especially at the haunt or whatever. So, and then all my local guys, everybody that I hang out with that have supported me, Sean Harding, everybody at the old Hot Shots, man, they all, it's all just been a big accumulation of confidence building for me and everybody that stuck behind me. That and my family. Can't do this without family, for sure.
Cool, man.
So, yeah, I definitely appreciate you having me on here, man.
Oh, thank you for your time, man, and hopefully I see you at Wicked Weekend, or probably not there, maybe PMB. We'll see. I'm sure
Well, I'll be
across
there. So, if it's a race time event, that's where I'm going to be at, unless something crazy stupid happens.
Cool. All right, man. Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for being a part of the Tekno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Kian. See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on.
Whoa. Things are about to get serious.
It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
Welcome to the JQ Racing Rant. This is the part of the podcast where things get a little bit rowdy. Things get a little bit rated R, PG-13 even. Or no, it's PG-13, then rated R, right? I don't even know. I haven't been to a movie in so long. I can't remember. All I know is we got the Jeff here. He's fully settled in Idaho now. His Facebook wall is full of sheep memes. I don't even know what that means. I thought Idaho was known for potatoes. And he has a rant for it because he did some racing. He went to a race this weekend. So what's up, Jeffrey? How you doing?
Man, I am doing fan-freaking-tastic. It's beautiful down here in Idaho. And yeah, I agree. I don't know what the hell all those memes were that they were posting with sheep. Like, there's no sheep in Idaho. I haven't seen any sheep. I've seen some goats.
Yeah.
I've seen, a lot of shit, but I haven't seen any sheep. So
Yeah.
not sure where all that's coming from, but
I
it's
don't
pretty
know.
funny anyway.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's all your friends giving you some shit. So that's what they're there for. You do the same thing. So.
Oh yeah, all the time.
So, before we go on, you watched the Euros race this weekend. I thought it was a badass race because I think you liked it as well. What did you think about it briefly?
I thought the final, I didn't get to watch as much as I did, like, say, the Roar Nats. I mean, I was glued to the Roar Nats, but I did watch the final, and I did catch a little bit of the qualifiers. The track looked like the track didn't look like a track that
Was going to hold the Euros.
that was going to hold the Euros. It looks like it was a club track, you know? So I was kind of disappointed in the atmosphere of the track itself and the way how it was presented. I was a little disappointed in that. I thought the racing itself was really good. I thought the finals was
Excellent.
That was awesome. That was some of the best racing
How about that?
you can see.
How about the LCQ, right? Oh, that was badass.
Yeah, like that was. I love that. I think the LCQ's a must-have.
And
like
that-
it's some of the best racing.
And that kid, Burak, came from the quarterfinals, bumped into the semis. He didn't make it in the semis. Did the LCQ, and finished third.
Yeah,
That's like
podium.
who cannot like an LCQ because of that?
Like, yeah, I mean, when you ever hear those Cinderella stories, like that's it right there, And he's a name that's not known. Like I had no idea who that guy was.
I've known him and his him and his brother made a splash last year at the Nationals. So they're really good. They're from Germany. They're of Turkish descent, and they travel with their dad and they race, man, and they're good.
Yeah.
So
No, I thought it was awesome. I think David gave it away. I definitely think he gave that race away. My opinion is as soon as Ongaro flamed out, his pace dropped off because he had the mentality that he's got this race. Now he didn't have any competition, and he could just stay on all four wheels, slow the pace down, and take it home. And then out of nowhere,
Breton, man, it was a great drive, and Kyosho needed that win, and I guess
it was big. Like that's a big thing.
He's cemented
and
himself.
The thing about it is that's gonna boost Breton's career. Like that takes him up a notch, right? It increases
number one
his
Kyosho
confidence.
driver, I would say.
Yeah, I mean his confidence is gonna go up. I guarantee you the next race he goes to, he's gonna be faster than he was before.
Yeah.
And it's all confidence.
And let's not forget about the rain halfway through the race. That was so that.
Now, could you imagine if that was in the U.S.? we would be shutting the race down. We'd be
Yeah.
like, stop the race, stop the race.
Yeah, and it worked out. I mean, it got muddy, but it didn't get too muddy, and then it dried out. And those guys still kept up the pace. That's how you know those guys are just on a whole different level from from all of us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and if you want to see how good these guys are, and I mean, I'm sure like Mayfield and other guys would have done that too, but if you can do that, like halfway through a race, it rains and you don't have tires for that or anything, and you can obviously they went slower, but they still probably got around that track faster than you and I and the average person can go around there. So
yeah, no, it's impressive. I mean, the ability for those guys to be able to adapt to a track condition like that is what makes them elite.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of young drivers, a lot of drivers in general can go turn a fast lap.
Mm-hmm.
But there is I would say less than 1% of the RC drivers that are running a car today can do what they do. I mean, it's
amazing, man.
It's a handful of people in this world that can do what they do. It's amazing.
Yep, I agree. I think that race was good for RC too. So, in a whole, like I think everybody enjoyed it. I haven't heard anybody say about the final. I mean, I haven't heard anybody say anything negative about it. You had real off-road, which is going into our subject today, but it wasn't real off-road like we're going to talk about. But
I'm going to slap the shit out of you.
Why?
Anybody who uses that word real off-road, I'm going to just start slapping the shit out of them. Somebody comes up to me and says, this is real off-road racing, they're getting throat punched. I'm going to just slap the shit out of them.
All right. Well, I enjoyed it. It was off-road like we used to race on. Like, let's put it that way. It didn't get blown out. It wasn't blown out though. It was a typical Euro track. Concrete sections, not so many big jumps, fast, just great. But enough about that. We have a rant to talk about this week. You went racing this weekend, so I'll let you introduce it because this is your rant.
Well, to me, this rant right here is going to go out to a lot of racers who like to use that term, it's real off-road racing, right? To me, and again, this is strictly my opinion, and everybody can determine what real off-road racing is, and everybody has their own stigma of what that is. But I think there's a line that is very blurred on what separates real off-road racing, which some people would put that as a bumpy, a dirty, rutted up track, the character word, a track with lots of character, all that bull stuff. That's like,
I hate character. I hate that word.
That's real off-road racing, right? That's what some people say. And then you have the people that have tracks and they don't take care of their track. Mm-hmm. And their track is just nasty to start with. Like, you show up to the track and you can tell the track hasn't been taken care of in months and months and months. And the owner of the track or people that race at that particular track all the time, they're like, oh, don't complain about it. This is real off-road racing. Here, you got to suck it up and just go run. And that's what this rant's about. This rant is dedicated to those yahoos that want to sit there and say, our track is real off-road racing, but it's an excuse for them not to take care of their track. And so for me, and in my opinion of traveling the world racing, I don't have a problem with tracks that blow out during an event or get rutted up or get bumpy or get rough or get loose or track conditions change. I don't have an issue with any of that. My issue is the people that have nice facilities or facilities that have really good potential, but they just don't take care of the facility. And then they expect the racers to show up to their facility and go race on a really shitty track, but then just say, oh, you're just bitching because You want these plush, groomed, smooth tracks, and you don't know how to race on real off-road. And to me, that's not real off-road. To me, that's just a lazy person who's refusing to take care of their track. For me, a smooth track, a bumpy track, a groomed track, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're taking care of the track, it's off-road racing. There is no real off-road. There is no lesser off-road. If it's dirt and there's jumps, whether there's 1 jump or 10 jumps or 50 jumps or holes or ruts or whatever, if there's dirt and jumps, that's off-road racing. End of story. Real or not, it doesn't matter. There is no real or not. If there's dirt, jumps, it's racing, off-road. End of story. Do you agree?
Well, I do agree with you on the people having shitty tracks of not maintaining their tracks. I think that's I don't like that. Like, you don't want to show up to a track and it's shitty already, and you're like, the jumps are blown out. My pet peeve with tracks is blown out jumps. If the track's gonna be blown out, at least have the jumps that work properly. I'm like you. I don't have an issue if a track gets blown out while we're racing. If it's good when we get there and it blows out from how many thousands of laps we put on it, then that's fine, because it changes for everybody. But for somebody that's just like, hey, this is real off-road. We ain't doing shit. We ain't fixing no jumps. We ain't doing this. You just race how it is. Yeah, that's no fun. Like, that's not for me. Like, you know what that is? That's people, like, when you're doing tracks and when you're holding races, you're providing a product, and you want people to partake of this product. So you have to give them the best thing that they can. Now, from the start, like I said, from the start, if you come there and it's all done properly and it's nice and it's great and everything's done and it blurs out, that's fine. But put in the work. Like, you want people to come to your track, you want people to race your race, put in the work and give them a great track beforehand.
I agree. And that goes true for a lot of places. Now, like, I've heard, since I've moved out here to the west side of the world, you know, a lot of tracks out here are just straight up dirt tracks, right? There's, you know, and coming from the East Coast, I am used to very nice groomed clay tracks, smooth, high grip, fast, you know, all that good stuff. And I love that style track. Like, I enjoy it because it's consistent, it's good traction, it's fun, easier to drive, all that good stuff. But some of my best races and some of my best results over my career have been at, like, Silver State and the old Hemet Nitro Challenge, where the tracks were ridiculously blown out. So for somebody to say that I don't know how to race on bumpy tracks, I don't like to race on bumpy tracks. Like, if I can choose a nice groomed, smooth clay track, fast, lots of grip, or this bumpy ass, rutted up, nasty track, I'm going to choose the nicer, smooth track any day of the week, because that's what I prefer. Mm-hmm. But coming out here, everybody keeps using this term, it's real off-road racing out here. It's real off-road racing out here. Well, to me, it's a different type of racing, because these tracks are just cut out of the ground. Like, that's whatever dirt is on the ground at that time, that's what the track is. And I don't have an issue with that. And I'm looking forward to proving myself all over again out here in the sense that I can choose the right tire and I can choose the right setup and I can make my car work on these tracks just as good as I could make my car work on the West Coast or East Coast tracks. But don't sit here and tell me that this is real off-road racing and you know, I'm going to struggle or we're going to struggle because, you know, it's going to be bumpy or it's going to be rutted up or whatever. As long as when I show up to that track and that track is somewhat decent and, like you said, it blows out during a race, so be it. I'll adapt and I'll change my setup for the track conditions. But yeah, if I'm going to show up to a track and it's shitty from the beginning, does it make me want to go back to that track? Not really. Because I like groomed tracks.
It's nothing wrong with having a groomed track. They're nothing at all. Now, here's where I like to make the difference, and we touched on this on the Nationals recap. The Nationals track, it was really high grip, really smooth, and we all agreed that type of track should have had more jumps, and it could have been way more Supercross style, that to make it harder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I agree with you guys there. Now let's take that. No, we just had the Euros track. We just talked about it earlier.
See, to me, the Euros track looked shitty. Like it looked shitty.
No. I mean the actual track itself, like the racing on the track, not the like. My point is, if it's gonna get blown out, you don't want a whole bunch of stupid jumps because it just makes the track too hard to navigate.
Right. You can no longer even make the jumps.
Exactly.
You're just rolling jumps.
Exactly. So that's no fun either. And like, for instance, another instance, I remember 2016 where I was in Vegas. A lot of people were like, oh, that layout isn't that challenging. It's shitty. It's like not too many jumps and not whatnot. But that track was going to blow out. That's where the challenge came.
Right.
You know? So.
But even look at DNC this last year. To me, DNC, like that track was stupid. Because it had the big jumps and it got blown out.
I
and
agree
it got
with you.
hard to make the jumps.
I
right?
100% agree with you.
But for me, like that race, that finals at DNC, it was boring because there was no racing. Those guys were racing the track. They weren't racing each other. Like they're trying to just get around the track without wrecking and flipping over. There was no real racing each other in that. And for me, I would much rather race a competitor than race the track.
But that happens on these smooth tracks too. Like people just run away as well. So we have to find that medium in between, I think. Like let's be like Spencer kind of ran away of the 2019 Nationals, right? Like from the start of the Euros to the end, it was a race. You know, let's look at DXR race this year. That track it's like medium rough, medium. You know, it didn't get blown out, but it got, you know,
it gets rough though.
Yeah, I just think it's nothing wrong with I don't want completely blown out bomb tracks where you lose your car and all that type of stuff, right? But my biggest pet peeve is like jumps have to stay the same, so you have to make your jumps properly, I think, and people can do that. But I don't know, man. I'm so mixed. Like I'm not really a fan of the smooth tracks, but if they're gonna be smooth, they just gotta have more jumps.
Okay. Well, let me ask you. Here's the question: let's take a smooth track. So let's say the Nationals track, because that was smooth, high grip, fast, all that stuff, right? Was the Nationals track, was that off-road racing?
Of course it was off-road racing because it was dirt and it had jumps.
Is that real off-road racing?
No, I'm not going to say it's real off-road racing.
Come on, what's the fucking difference between off-road and real off-road? Like,
because if you're going to be on slicks at the end and your car is still good, then it's not like of course it's off-road racing.
So real off-road is determined by a pin, by the pin of your tire.
For me, because I'm old school.
No, it's off-road. It's dirt. It's off-road cars. You're jumping. That's off-road.
They race the stadium trucks in Australia on a road track with jumps. Have you ever seen that on Facebook or anything?
Yeah. I
don't know, man. And I get it, but I just think we need to have both, and I don't want shitty tracks.
So what determines real off-road racing? Do you have to have
roost? Brap. That's what you gotta have. Like when you go around a corner and there's a turn marshal there, you're like, oh man, I got out of the groove. Her, take this, boof, and they're like a big dust bowl in his face or something like that. I don't know.
So there is a difference between off-road racing and real off-road racing.
Well, then what about carpet? I consider that off-road racing.
I do too. I think it is. It's where we have off-road cars and they're jumping. So to me, the jumps dictate whether or not it's an off-road track or not.
It's you know what? It's all off-road, but I'm definitely more of a old school. I like it to get a little not the stupid blown out, but get blown out because
that's it right there. We need to train America. We need to train America and get rid of this fucking word real. Like, the real needs to go away. If you say real, I'm going to throat punch you.
All right.
Just say old school. Because there is a difference. There is old school off-road, which is the rooster tails and blown out tracks and bumpy and all that crazy stuff. And then you have the new style off-road tracks, which is carpet, turf, high grip, smooth. We'll go that route.
I think
old school and new school off-road. But it's all off-road, but there is a difference there. But this real shit needs to go away.
But hey, I know one thing for sure. There was definitely some really good racing at the Euros.
There was. I agree. I agree. I think there was. But there was good racing at the Roarnats too.
Yes, but not like that. Not like what we saw. Like, you always complain about people going away and running away after the race. Nobody ran away with the race. Excuse me.
No.
Even third and fourth came down to the last freaking lap, like, because Savoia ran out of fuel, like, And
is that what he did? Is that what happened?
No. He didn't run out of fuel. Sorry, his pipe got plugged up with mud.
Oh,
so, but he was fast.
He was doing good. Like, there was a time where I thought he would podium.
Hey, he was gonna podium to the last few seconds of the race. That's pretty amazing. But I don't know. Yes, I agree. I know we're not going to go. Like, okay, here's a classic. I always hear this, and even Dagani tells me this. The roughest track you ever drove on, but then they say Silver State was too, was the Watermelon Classic in Aiken, South Carolina.
And I raced that track in Aiken, South Carolina.
Was that really that bad?
It was, if you take... some of the worst tracks was like the Adela PMB tracks. Like, those were really nasty. To me, Hemet,
old school helmet,
the dirt.
It's so weird, right?
Hemet was probably the worst I've ever been on. But the Watermelon was close to like that. It was the problem with the Watermelon. What made it really difficult was because it was clay. And the difference between, like, these West Coast tracks, when they blow out, they just get big craters, right? Big holes in them, or long gouges in them, right? Well, on an East Coast track that blows out, because of the clay, it gets really sharp edges.
Right, and they catch.
So when your car hits the rut or hits the bump, typically the front's going to dig in and it's going to just flip your car. Like, there's no way around it. Wow. Around here, you have the holes where you're driving in and driving out, and it's all kind of rounded and tapered because the dirt's loose, so it caves in. But, with clay, once you get that rut forming, it's just a sharp 90-degree edge that just completely throws your car. Like, if you're driving and your tire catches that rut, that sharp edge will just grab your car and yank it in whatever direction it wants to. And it's unexpected. It's hard to judge and gauge that. So that's the difference between a blown out East Coast track and a blown out West Coast track is.
Yeah, I can agree with that. So we're going to call it new school and old school.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, well, I'm good with that. I don't know what it is about this freaking word real, like real off-road. It just drives me insane. And I know the minute everybody hears this podcast now, they're going to flood me with real shit, right? It's going to drive me nuts. But I just, for whatever reason, real off-road to me, it's just a stupid ass term and it needs to go away. Old school. I'm good with that. See, I was going to do this whole thing about relaying a track to like a fine female, like I had this speech a while back about, driving lines and treating the track like a female. You really want to caress it and take care of her and all this stuff. I won't get into any of that, but there is a truth to people who take care of their tracks and take care of their facilities and the people who don't. And the people who don't, but expect the racers to come out and race, are the ones that bitch the most about nobody knows how to race on real off-road tracks. And really, to me, it's a sense of their laziness and their unwillingness to go out and groom a track. Like, it is not hard on the morning of race day on a club race to stick a drag up to a lawnmower or a four-wheeler and drag the track for 30 minutes and somewhat smooth it out and make it raceable. That's not difficult. It's easy to do.
See, in Bermuda, we only had one track, right? And we didn't have a whole bunch of dirt. So we ended up, at some parts on our track, was down to limestone. And we just ran it. That's what cut my teeth on racing was that. And I remember going to American tracks when I used to race, like back in the early 2000s, people like 2000s, oh, this track is getting blown out, it's rough. And I'm like, this shit is smooth as a baby's ass for me, but I get it, man. As times go on.
That's where I'm at now. Like here in Idaho, where I'm at now, we have an outdoor track. It's a club track, right? Mm-hmm. And the facility here is freaking awesome. Like the facility itself, it's in a huge park, and the park is known for mountain biking. Mm-hmm. So there's like 6 or 7 different big mountain biking trails, and then they have this mountain biking obstacle course thing, and then they have a BMX track, and then they have the off-road track, right? Mm-hmm. And the driver stand's awesome. The facility is nice. They have power around the facility. I mean, everything about the track is nice, but you can just tell that they don't take care of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling some of the guys there, I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to change. Like, I don't have a problem working on the track. That's right. Not an issue for me. Like, give me the tools, give me the right stuff, and I'll come out before race day and I'll groom the track and make it raceable. But the problem out here is they're complaining because they're not getting the attendance on the off-road track.
Right.
And to me, that's why. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're not going to take care of the track, nobody's going to go out there and support it because you're not taking care of it. There's weeds all over the place. You could tell that it's never been groomed since the time that they put this layout in. I don't know how the layout is, but it's not being taken care of. No. And that's a time thing, and I get it. I mean, these guys are busy and they got shit to do and they don't have time, and whatever the reason is, it doesn't matter. But I'm in town now, and that shit's gonna change. Like,
well, that's good. A new sheriff in town.
We may not be able to get the attendance up, but I guarantee you, the next time we have a club race at that track, as long as I have the right facility or the right tools to fix the track, that track's gonna be in good shape. Like, it's not gonna be an issue.
Well, that's good, because you know why you're bitching about it, but you're gonna offer solutions for it. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll complain, but I've told everybody here, I'm like, I don't have a problem putting in the work. I just need the right stuff to do it with.
Got you. Well, I think you're gonna do a good job, and you're going up to Walla Walla this weekend. When do you leave for that?
I leave Friday morning to go to Walla Walla.
Yeah, at the
and that's another one. Everybody over there, like, now they're building this track. Like, it's going to be a fresh layout for this series race they have. Mm-hmm. They're expecting like 200 entries, 200, almost 300 entries, somewhere in that neighborhood. So they're expecting a lot of entries.
Yeah, because they race 10 scale and 8 scale at the same time.
Yeah, they run 10 scale and 8 scale. So, but everybody keeps telling me the same thing. Oh, get ready for this track. It's going to blow out. It's going to be real off-road over here. And then you have some other guys, saying, oh, no, that it's probably the nicest track on the circuit in this place. So,
well, they have a good thing going on.
I don't know what to expect. But
I think you're going to have fun. It's a good vibe up there on the NCT Tour, the Northwest Championship Tour. Everybody likes to have fun. I follow it a lot because we have a team up there. And I think you're going to do all right. I think you're going to have fun. And you have fun wherever you go.
Yeah, we'll have fun no matter what.
Cool. Well,
and Walla Walla is wine country.
There you go.
So, hell yeah, we're going to be sucking down some wine in the old vineyards.
There you go. Don't go sleep in the vineyards. So.
And there's a casino on the way, so I get to stop at the casino on the way. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, all the sins. All right, so I want to say to the listeners, what do you guys think? Should we change it to new school and old school? And let us know in the comments. All right, Jeff. Well, get your stuff ready. Are you going to get your bodies from Larry? Because they look so badass.
They do look badass, don't they? They should. He shipped them Saturday, I think, so I should have them tomorrow or Thursday.
Good stuff. All right, man. Well, we got E-Nats this weekend, too. Woo!
Yeah, I was making jokes. I'm like, because John Bernard had made a post that he's really unprepared, the most unprepared he's ever been going to a race. Mm-hmm. And my comment was, well, at least you know you're going to make the B main.
Well, to be honest, I think I was listening to Spencer Rivkin and there's lots, Spencer Rivkin, Alex K, and the Ginger Ninja. Jackson Brunson, they were doing a Facebook Live, and all three of them are going. Cav's going, Mayfield's going, Lutz is going.
All the factory guys are going to be there, but that's it. There's nobody else outside of the factory guys.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think in e-buggy, which e-buggy is should be the biggest class. I think they only got 30 entries in e-buggy.
Where can you see the entries and all that stuff?
It's on the Roar Racing website.
Yeah, I was trying to look for it the other day.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, I thought it would be bigger on the East Coast. I thought they thought it would be.
I did too. I don't understand why it's
no
not.
classes, man. No sportsmen are open. People don't want to go and lose. They want to play.
Well, I think that's part of it, but I also think that the track itself, I heard, is tiny. The track is small.
Oh, well.
And the facility itself, the facilities are small. So I'm again, why would Roar pick a place like that? I don't understand that.
I don't get it either, man. But I guess I might tune in a little bit. I like to watch the fast guys race anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good race between the factory guys. And I think, again, it's going back to, it'll be the Mayfield and Spencer indoor racing. It's going to be Thornhill on a smaller scale. E-buggy,
we shall see.
I think it's going to be a Mayfield Spencer show.
Good stuff. I'll pay attention.
I don't know. I wonder if Tessman's going.
I don't know. I know Tebow, Bornhorst, Lutz. Yeah, it's going to be good. The A main's going to be stacked, so should be. Cole's going, I believe. Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Well, anyway, man, thank you for your time. Thank you to the listeners for tuning in. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Euro RC, Tekno RC, BK Hobbies, Assault RC, Bipolar Designs, 454 RC Works, and of course, JQ Racing. For bringing
the real RC car.
The real RC car. All right, man. Well, good luck to you this weekend. Have fun up there in Washington, and thank you for your time, and thank you all the listeners. And remember, nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding.
It ain't paying the bills at the E-Nats.
See, you always gotta go there. You always gotta get the last word. I don't know how they're gonna grow E-Nats. I don't know how it's gonna happen.
They need to get rid of Truggy, and they need to make a buggy Nats. And have it e-buggy and nitro buggy, and then have a truck nationals.
Yeah, maybe. They used to have the truck nationals before. It was just Truggy and 10 scale truck, but no more 10 scale truck. All right, dude. Well, you have a good day
Peace
tomorrow,
out.
and have a good weekend. Talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. Please tune in next time for more fresh RC content. And if you can, please also support us on patreon.com/The Quay Grain. We will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, nitro is the glory.